A lot, is it? Okay, here we go. In Maricopa. Everybody out there who got cast vote records. This is a snapshot of a precinct in Maricopa. All of the precincts have this information if you know how to get it. You have their total assets, that's the top left. How many are active? You can find out how many they reactivated for any election. This one's 2020, so they reactivated 435. They'll show you exactly how many they're counting as positive and how many they still have as inactive, 622. They'll show you the turnout. Everything in our world relates to the precinct. You only need to know two things. Two things. Now, this is given that you can see the telemetry of the election. You know how many votes are coming in. That's where everybody was attacking the servers. But you only need two pieces of information to make it work, aside from time. You have to know exactly what the count is at any given time, and then you have to know by precinct exactly how many fungible assets do you have, meaning how many voters do you have to tap who have not come in and voted. This is primary, what they do with the poll books, et cetera, to know who's there and who's been active. If we were just looking at this, and most people never do this, go backwards in time and look at your data. Why is it important? In Maricopa, when we were told it was an 87% turnout, if you were to look at 16, 12, 8 going backwards, you will find they've never had those turnout numbers. Everything plays by the precinct. I know I'm preaching to the choir. Understand your precincts, understand your numbers, because what we're about to do is reduce this to the ridiculous. Here's how it works. On my screen is a sample of a cast vote record. There are 6 versions of this. Write this down. Most people, when they did that, Mike Lindell Get the Cast Vote Records, got the last text file. That's exactly what the county says happened. But remember, if you're doing an audit, you're trying to find out what really happened, okay? So there's 6 versions. The cast vote records begin with the pre-image. That's when the ballot goes in the machine. Then there is the post-image, the image of, okay, what happened in between adjudication. And then there's the text file, which gives it a text version. And there's 2 versions of each. So inherently, when you ask for the cast vote records, if you just ask generically for cast vote records and you don't know what you're asking for, you're going to get the one they certified that they say is real. Now, what you're looking at right here is a post image. This is one ballot header. You're looking at a before and after I want to draw your attention to. Here's why. The ballot is code. And take that literally. The ballot is code. When you have a Tesla car and it's doing automatic
We're going to get crazy cold here tomorrow and the next day.
Road,
what's happening in Texas?
Cars in front of it, etc. It's reading everything around it. I want you to understand, one of the ways to understand what you're looking at is you got to understand that ballot is code as well. Forget the votes on it. That's not what this is about. This is about how can you understand the ballot.
I got a little bit about everything.
Now, what I'm doing is I'm just pointing out some of the codes you need to look at if you want to find out how well your elections are run. So the top part above that teal line is the ballot header. If you look below, it's the same ballot header, but I have highlighted 3 things. There are 3 pieces of code there you need to know. What is it?
In the 80s,
Number
wow.
1,
we're going to be
it says
lucky
EV.
to hit 0 tomorrow,
EV.
or day after tomorrow.
That means this ballot
it's going to be like
vote
minus
ballot. All
1,
ballots
maybe
have this.
1 degree.
This is an EV code.
Somewhere around there.
You can get an EV 2 ways. You can get it mailed to you, or you walk in early vote. Now, the left half of the code is the ballot coding that appears on a barcode in the bottom, which is that 70328.00. That's the coding of the barcode. But that middle part, that 328, if you look to the right, that's the precinct. So now you have two other pieces of code. You have, this is precinct number 328. The name of that precinct is Jackrabbit. Okay. So now we've gone beyond the ballot. At this point, we don't care what the vote is. We're just looking at what does the data tell us. So in this one, it's telling us they got an early vote from precinct 328, which is named Jackrabbit. I'm going to show you another just to train your eyes. Okay. So you're used to looking at them. Here it is, top and bottom. The top one is the same ballot on the bottom. What do you have on the information here? You can also tell it's an EV, it's an early vote. You can also tell that the precinct is 1, 2, 3, colonnade.
Unless you're going to be out of
Three
town.
unique pieces of information: colonnade, early vote, and the precinct number. Remember, everything in our system
technically it's kind of back to normal here.
Precinct, approximately 175,000 precincts. Okay,
20.
You don't need any math rhythms. You don't need any of this to understand it. This is just simple.
So much for global
data.
warming. I am going to do
this one actually has more information on it.
Sunday.
When it comes to a coding standpoint, far more. Can you tell what it is? From the first two I showed you, what's different in this one? Remember, the top and bottom are the same. I've gave you a cheat. I highlighted the bottom.
I'm upstate New
York.
What's
different?
Not too far from the Lake Ontario.
What's different on this one is it has a color designate.
We get the snow.
Do you see it?
There's snow coming.
It says purple. See it right there? Plain writing.
Sure.
So this one actually has more information. It's purple. It's an early vote. It's precinct 374, and it's Loma Linda. All of those points matter because now you have multiple things to audit. So what I'm talking about is when you get this data,
with this while people are coming in.
You're entering just those points. That's all I gave you, just those points into a spreadsheet. Now, can you understand looking at an original ballot?
Yeah,
why
I got
this
some videos
is an important
about
piece of
what
information
things happening
here.
in Texas.
This says purple. You don't see any purple on it, do you?
Dammy, did you know that there was a fight between the supporters of Islam but they aren't all necessarily Muslim, although a lot of these youth now are going that way, and regular people in Texas. There was a fight between the two of them, young ones against each other. I got a little clip on that.
Not at all. But you see the word purple. That means when it was printed originally, most people never get the luxury of.
That's for your primary? Boy, I don't know if I necessarily believe in that early voting stuff. It just gives the Democrats time to keep putting in more ballots.
Dealing with the real ballot, that bar to the left was purple. Here's an example. Now, when you're looking at a ballot in color, you have more code. You see the red printing up there? That's a piece of code. You see that yellow bar on the left? That's a piece of code. Now, what do we know in the difference between these two ballots? Well, the one below it is a green. But why isn't that bar green? The reason that bar is not green is because when you walk in on election day, they print the ballot for you on a print-on-demand machines. Those machines are black and white. If this one had an EV on the bottom, if it had an EV versus a ED, and it was black and white, you'd know two things. Look up above. See, it says gold EV. That means it literally came in the mail. Why? Because we can still see it in color. When you walk in to do an early vote, and what they do is you're not using your mail-in ballot. They reprint the ballot for you. That ballot is now in black and white. But you can clearly see this originally started as a green ballot. All of this is information you need to know because these numbers are trackable. I'm going to show you how and why we use them. Now, if you only had the text part of the cast vote record, you could still derive this information. These are the pre-images. If whoever
Tammy, I heard about that one election
knows what they're doing,
just recently there that the Democrats.
If you're just scrambling and screaming at a county, give me cast vote records, you're going to get it like this. Now, the information.
It's one thing about the socialists; they're organized and they can get out the vote.
Still there. It's just in different places. If you look at across the header here, okay, you're looking at the tabulator that run it. That's 303002. You're looking at the batch number. It's very important by batch. You're looking at the batch number. You're looking at the number of ballots. If this batch had 200 ballots, this one's number 82 of 200. In that format, it's a TIFF, bigger, different image, and you can see exactly when it came on. But you see how you can still see the same information. You know this was precinct 497, and this was a green ballot. This is what it looks like if you only have the text part of it. Okay? Now, in our system, most of you know me and Q codes and barcodes and all my patents for that. We basically created a new type of QR code regarding the precincts. What we did is we took a defined map. That's all of Maricopa there. You do not have to do this. I'm going to show you how to do it very simply. I'm just showing you how far we go first. There are 5 precincts, 5 voting districts that cover all the precincts in Maricopa. And then they're divided into small precincts inside that. If you were looking at any batch that ran in, we highlighted, we lit up the precinct, and you can.
Yeah, I seen today that Wimpkin's going to open up their beta version of their new software.
See it here. It basically makes its own QR code. We can read this. We can look for duplicates. We can look to see if there's patterns we should recognize. Now, if you could zoom up on our maps, what you're looking at here is these are where 4 different precincts collide. You see the gray line, the green line, the red line, the blue line. That's the convergence of basically 4 voting districts. All those little squares and pieces and Rorschach, those are all voting precincts. When you see the call letters that we plot, what we're tracking is every single place somebody can drop off a ballot. Okay, now since this is within a map, within an area, we understand distances. Let me show you why this information is very critical. In Maricopa, there are 100, in all of Maricopa County area, there are 100 plus postal locations. Now, let me let you know what a postal location is. A postal location is a physical United States Postal Service office. Okay? If you were to also incorporate, which we did, there were 23 supposedly secure drop boxes, and there were 15 drive-through drop boxes. So we tracked everything. Okay.
I bet you those are.
If you were to consider Maricopa itself, you have to understand the vastness of the Metroplex. Some of you may or may not be dealing with this, but you also have to understand the distances involved. Here's why. In Maricopa, it is 132 miles across from west to east. It's 103 miles north to south. That county, which is the 4th largest county in the United States, 2nd largest group of voting people, covers 9,200 square miles. It's a massive area. You'll see why this becomes important in a minute. Now, through Maricopa, what we're going to talk about here is we're going to talk about how the ballots came in. We're looking at the ballots. Understanding the full forensic audit, we've got the ballots. Some people think looking at the ballots is only looking for the votes. It is not. For our side, we didn't even count the votes. That's not what matters. What matters is, was the election run correctly? That's a maladministration issue. If your election was maladministered, you have the legal right to force the county to show you, no, we administered it correctly. That's maladministration. When you scream fraud, like everybody was trained, it immediately takes it out of the county, out of the state, and bumps it to the State Department. And we had Merrick Garland. The only people in a county that can declare fraud.
I prefer voting on election day.
Your Secretary of State and your Attorney General at the time of election. So if you take 2020 and what everybody was taught to say, fraud, 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 this is fraud, it's fraud, 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 that one word canceled 73 lawsuits in succession because that is the wrong way to prosecute it. It's maladministered. Your job at the local level is only to determine, was the election run properly?
Hey, John.
That's it. And if you think it wasn't run properly and you think it was maladministered, you have standing to force your local elected officials
nice to
to
see everyone here.
It was administered correctly. It is under maladministration that you gain your rights. Part of the con of 2020, not get anything fixed, everybody was taught fraud, 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 and that's how they duped us. But here's how we look at this so you understand how this works. Let's take Maricopa County,
this one's you can kind of
which is a county that's almost exclusively mail-in ballots. They have been for a very long time. You need to understand how the post office works first. This is about to become very apparent to you. When you drop your ballot
people working in there
in a post office receptacle, it's basically called a two-hop. No matter where that ballot drops, it is going to go to one central processing center. Then it's going to go to the final processing center to reach the final address. I think everybody can agree that the mail-in ballots have the same address.
Weekends
They're going
up to
to one
6
place.
p.m.
So if you drop your ballot in Maricopa, you can plot this for your
Weekdays
city.
4 p.m.
It's making 2 stops. Let's trace this out. That means if you went down to your local post office and you randomly stuck in your mail-in ballot, when the post person shows up, they're grabbing all the mail. There's no order to it. They're throwing it in their little bags and containers. They're going to the regional center. The regional center, they're dumping it out. They're running it through all of them to know where it's going. Then it's batch sorted again to head to its final destination, which is basically MTech in Arizona. That's how your mail is handled. Now, half of those mail-in ballots have a third hop. That basically means because of where you are in the city, it's got a third hop. You didn't go to the post office, you went to the box, or you, etc. So you dropped it in a post box, that's pickup 1. It goes to that post office, that's pickup 2. It goes to the regional, that's pickup 3, before you ever get to MTech. So I want you to understand the process here. If any of you have ever worked elections, if you went to a drop box, you pop off the security seal, you open it up, and just here's all these ballots. They may or may not be in a bin. All you're basically doing is raking them into a bin. If you're somebody for elections, you're counting how many there are. So if you pick up 715 ballots, you're going to say there's 715 ballots. You're going to basically, here's the code I cut off, here's the new code I'll put in, here's my name, etc. It's all trackable. Same with the post office. They're just going to gather them up. They're just going to drop them in.
Okay,
now remember,
Tammy.
Batches for elections are different than batches for the post office. Batches for the post office is how is mail handled. Batches for elections is how do we manage the election. And the average batch size for elections is about 200 ballots. That's going to become very important here in a moment. Now, I want to remind you, this is the only evidence left, folks. We can recreate the entire 2020 general election. Every person, every signature, everybody who touched it, every place it went, everybody was involved. This is the only evidence that exists. If we don't hold on to this, getting through 27 in these midterms, when the fights are really going to come, all of
they're going to cheat again.
Is going to be lost, especially what you're about to see. Let's move forward. This is called a batch. Okay, and I'm going to show you several batches. I'm going to call some things out to you. Now, I developed this particular tracking program to just look at batches by precinct. It is not for voting. batches by precinct. Okay? There are 748 precincts in Maricopa, Arizona. If you look at this batch, this is batch number 3. There are 3 pages in this report. Batch number 3 had 290 ballots. Look straight down. It says 0.70 early votes. That basically means this is predominantly an election day batch. It's 99.3% election day. Okay? There are 209 ballots. There are 201 precincts reporting. 201. Okay? Now, when you understand how they laid out the land in Maricopa, 748 precincts, they had over 200 voting places you could walk in and not get COVID. When you understand the ratio, we should be seeing about 20 to 40 precincts per batch. We're not. This one, we're seeing 201 precincts in one batch. How we count it here, we give them color bars. You see, you can see all the numbers are the same. All of a sudden, you get 6 ballots, then you get 5, then you get 4 at 4, then you get a bunch of 3s, some 2s, and then all of a sudden, all we get is 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 for pages. Now, this is why the precincts matter.
That's
The
something was going
majority
on
of these
there.
precincts are 100 miles apart. Some of them 80, 90 miles apart from where this originated and got dropped. So you have to ask yourself, why would somebody go to a place you can vote in person, but their actual precinct is 97 miles away? So we chart every bit of this. So what we notice is, wow, this looks like this is being managed. You see it right here. We call it measured rhythms detected. We measured this against things in the past. 97% of these, we're saying something's going on here. Let's look at another batch. Here's another batch. I'm going to teach you how to read it. That's right here. Okay, this is 291 ballots. This one is 3.64% early vote. So again, this is a blended batch. Okay, so it's 96.42 election day, the rest early vote. We see the same thing. We're hitting the same 98% number. All of a sudden, they come in and it just goes 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 across the board. I'll show you a few more. This is batch 33. We're just going later. This one is 2.17% early vote. 149 ballots in this batch. This one has 101 precincts. Same thing. You hit this weird rhythm based upon where they were picked up or where they came in, and then all of a sudden it's just straight ones. That never changed, even in the early votes. If it was 100% early vote, it never changed, ever. Never changed. You can look at it here. This is basically telling you that 198 people early voting, dropping in their ballots in this one batch. Somehow, 95% of them came from all different places across the Metroplex, and that batch got there. So the first thing you start thinking about here is go, wait a minute. Are these things sorted in any way? Number one, when the Postal Service picks them up, they do not sort them because they only have one destination. That's the MTech Postal Center. So the local postman doesn't pick it up. All they're looking at is where did it come from, where it's headed by that address. It goes to the regional center. It's dumped in with a bunch more. Never sorted. It goes to the final center before it gets to MTech. It's even more ballots. No sorting is done. Zero sorting is done. Now that's key to this. Let's keep on going. The key part of this is it just keeps on happening. So we try to understand what in the hell are we looking at that all of this has in excess of 90% of every single batch is showing just one ballot spread across all these other precincts, and it just keeps happening time and time again. It doesn't matter what it was. I just went from batch 3 up here.
Just a little cheating.
You can see the top. Batch 3, This is batch 12.
Nothing to
This
see
is
here.
batch 33. This is batch 9,569. Same thing. Basically, what you have in Maricopa is you have 10,000 plus batches, and every one of them have this same feature in it. Every single one of them have this weird anomaly that somehow they got predominantly sorted, 90+%, into one for each precinct. Now, the mail doesn't run that way. So you understand we have to investigate, okay, how does the mail do this? All those pieces, if they were to enter the facility on the same day and they get to the Postal Service can handle in their sorting machines about 30,000 to 40,000 letters per hour per machine. That's their sorting capabilities. But in these, there's no sorting. They're going to the same place. Now, what they turn around and do is now it's gone through either 2 or 3 hops. They reach in bulk, they grab anywhere from 500 to 700 of these ballots, and they basically put them in a tub, and then they pack those tubs, those trays. There's about 430 to 600 trays for just 300,000 alone, okay? They just stick them in there. There's no sorting because they're all going to one place. Now, what happens is the batch sorting occurs, if it's going to occur anywhere, it's going to occur at the tally facility. Now, this is where they take all of those ballots that come in bulk, and supposedly they just reach in and they pull out 200. So what we're supposed to understand is they get these big deliveries from the Postal Service. Here comes these tubs. Somebody at MTech reaches in, grabs 200 just so they can manage the load and say, okay, here's a batch. Well, MTech does not sort ballots by precinct at all. There is never a sort. And anywhere in the process, there's never a sort done. And you got 10,341 batches exactly this way. 10,341. What does it mean? Well, basically what it means, now you understand, this is where math does come in. We have made no assumptions. There's no fractal, there's no polynomial, there's no p caps, there ain't crap here. Give me the precinct number, tell me what kind of ballot it was, and where'd you stick it in the batch? That's it. We're not making any determinants about who got the vote, where did the vote go, any of it. It doesn't matter. This is why the paper is the only thing that shows conclusively what happened. And remember, anything you do on a machine to manipulate a vote, at maximum, it's a $1,000 fine misdemeanor. And that doesn't matter if it's 1 or 1 million. It's only one fine. You mess with a ballot, it's a state and federal felony for exactly how many ballots it was done to. That's the difference between the two fields. So when you're looking at this in Maricopa to understand how to do this audit yourself, what we found, 10,341 batches. They all had the same repeating rhythm and arrival and runs. It is within a 0.2 statistical difference. By the way, that 0.2 statistical difference is exactly what Biden won the election by. If we go into it deeper and let the math speak to us, here's what the math says. This is math. And by the way, we've got 3 other very large auditing firms who have now confirmed this. These are not our numbers. These are their numbers now. We handed over all our data, had everything re-audited. Here's what they say. It's called a p-value. In auditing circles and forensics, it's called the p-value. It is what assesses the ratio that this is what happened. The p-value that this occurred organically is basically whatever number to the 10th power with 200 zeros. If you wrote that down, you would write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then you would put 200 zeros behind it to get the odds that this occurred in a natural voting behavior. Now, based on that probability, they know that this has been managed to be indistinguishable. You can only find this if you look at the precinct. This is how you confirm for 10,400 batches, the entire election was managed to a predetermined outcome. But you've got to go through every test. You got to go through every single test there is in forensics and mathematics and get them to confirm it. Here are what their confirmations tell us. That greater than 80% of the precincts, 95.21% of these batches, 98,437, were exactly subject to the algorithm we detected. And oh, by the way, there are 2,415 batches where it was exactly one ballot per precinct, equally spread to create that batch. They didn't even have variabilities. In other words, it is 100% verified. It's actually called uniform distribution. That's a p-value of 10 greater than 100 versus what you would expect as clumping. If something came from a drop box, you would expect a clump. If something came from a certain area of town, you would expect a clump. None of these get sorted. And so what you have here is these numbers. This is the observed reality of our numbers. I want to give you some scales of how you can determine this. You don't have to rely on anything except just put in the numbers, put in the data, the precinct, it will tell you what's up. Here's the deal. Most people glaze over when they see these. I glaze over. Fisher methods. We had to have binomial tests. We had to have random test runs. We had to have p-values. We had to have consecutive p-values, all this other stuff. Here's what matters. Here is the exact number of what you just saw.
Lyman was right. He put together
it would basically say
biggest fraud outfit there ever has been.
There is a smaller chance of this happening by pure randomness than there is of winning the Powerball jackpot every single day for 10 billion years straight. That's the odds.
Pretty good odds, huh?
That's measured by distance, by how the post office does these, etc. Every one of these things were manipulated. You would have a greater odd of winning the Powerball every single day for 10 billion years. These are the real world numbers. At the end of the day, it's a 1 followed by 11,800 roughly zeros. Just so you understand, this is less likely than every atom in your body spontaneously quantum tunneling to Mars at the same exact time. Or that you could likely guess a random 300-digit number correctly on the first try. Or that you can flip a coin getting heads 830 times in a row. These are the numbers. This is what's called prosecutable, irrefutable evidence that they changed the ballots. And by the way, you've already had all that data. You've had it for a long time.
Yeah. I thought that was interesting. I thought I'd start off with that. Let's go to Pizzagate and the connection with Epstein in Ukraine.
Zelensky. Jeffrey Epstein is Pizzagate. I told you that earlier this week. But how crazy is this? One of the most disturbing characters of the entire Pizzagate saga is actually connected to Epstein and to Ukraine's Zelensky. I'll explain that totally bizarre connection in just a second. But first, Zelensky appears to be connected to Epstein into the trafficking of girls and children in Ukraine. And it was the upheaval in Ukraine that Epstein claimed in his emails would create many opportunities. So, the question, were those opportunities to traffic women and children out of Ukraine? In the newly released Epstein files, we find repeated references to 2 Kiev-based modeling agencies, both still operating today. In one email, a sender tells Epstein that they're the best agencies in Kiev. The others only provide, quote, cheap escorts. Another message offers Epstein contact information for someone connected to around, quote, 400 girls. But the files don't stop with modeling. They document travel routes from New York to Kiev, apartments arranged for women, extended stays, and logistics. They also show real estate dealings, including 2017 discussions involving Epstein and a mansion purchase in Lviv. emails tracking large money transfers and hundreds of thousands of dollars tied to the deal. But Epstein's involvement in Ukraine was much deeper than just accessing models. He was ready to take advantage of the country's upheaval. Take a look at this email from 2013, just before the CIA-led coup that overthrew the government of Ukraine. Epstein writes, quote, "Ukraine upheaval should provide many opportunities." Many. The year was 2013. Ukraine was in the middle of a political crisis, and Epstein sent that message to the head of the Rothschild banking group. The emails indicate, along with others, that Epstein worked directly for and with the Rothschilds, specifically on taking advantage of the chaos being sown in Ukraine. Well, not long after those emails were sent, the Rothschild-linked interests aggressively moved into Ukraine, buying assets that had collapsed in value after the 2014 upheaval. We're talking about land and energy and infrastructure. And when Petro Poroshenko emerged as president, control of major financial and industrial assets didn't leave oligarchs. They simply changed hands.
In order to stop any insinuations, we have already prepared and fully agreed upon a deal to transfer our stake in Roshan to the Rothschild Trust, a company with an impeccable reputation, so that Poroshenko's name will not be listed among the owners.
Yeah, and then came 2019. Poroshenko lost power, and a television comedian by the name of Vladimir Zelensky won the presidency. And Jeffrey Epstein? He seems to have made a new friend, because he later writes to a Ukrainian-born woman, quote, "I want you to start reading about politics in Ukraine. Zelensky, corruption, parliament." He later writes, "Yes, it is funny, but sophisticated corruption. Huge amounts of money will be made. I'd like to see you as a female oligarch." The Epstein and Zelensky had lunch multiple times together. And then Zelensky himself appears to be accused of being complicit in human trafficking in Ukraine. In a redacted email, Zelensky's misspelled name is found, stating that he allowed modeling agent Jean-Luc Brunel to traffic girls out of the country. So who was Jean-Luc Brunel? Well, he was found dead in a prison cell in 2022 while he was being held on suspicion of rape of minors, sexual exploitation, and trafficking girls to who else?
Nice guy, huh?
Epstein. And we're not done yet, because in a plot twist to this story, there is another major Pizzagate connection. See, Zelensky himself, in September of 2023, he invited performance artist Marina Abramovich to serve as an ambassador for Ukraine. She would specifically help to rebuild schools and support children affected by the war. Marina Abramovich is not even Ukrainian, she is Serbian. She is also a central character in the original Pizzagate story. See, throughout the Podesta Pizzagate emails, Abramovich's name comes up often. She is a bizarre performance artist who performs something called spirit cooking, which is a ritualistic use of blood and semen. Much of her art involves highly sexual and cannibalistic themes. So the question is, what would qualify her to be an ambassador for Ukraine, dealing specifically
For the spirit cooking, they had to kill the victim, the kids.
with children? Look, once again, there are so many bizarre issues that seem to be raised with these emails. Many of the names listed in the Epstein files are not necessarily connected to human and child trafficking, right? But some certainly seem to be. And in this case, Zelensky, who runs a country that for years has been known as a hotbed for pedophilia and human trafficking, also seems to have found a powerful connection with and to Jeffrey Epstein. And even after Epstein's death, continued to remain connected to those who celebrate ritualistic torture.
A lot of our CIA and all of them are connected to this stuff. All right, pedophiles, delete pedophiles goes further than even Jeffrey Epstein did.
The thing about Jimmy Savile, he was invited into the inner core of the British royal family by a man called Lord Mountbatten. Lord Mountbatten was a known pedophile. He was infamous for it, where he becomes a close friend of Prince Philip and a close friend of Prince Charles, now King Charles. People knew, but he was never collared, because what he was doing, and this has not come out, he was a procurer of children for the rich and famous, for pedophilia and sacrifice, by the way. Anyone that threatens to exposure, well, they better watch their back as well, because the same people are watching his back. And why they're doing the same sacrificial rituals now with these rich and famous billionaires as they were doing back then in Babylon and so on. You know, when they talk about the ancients sacrificing young virgins to the gods, that was children. What they're doing is systematically triggering terror in the sacrificial victim. The greater the terror they can elicit, the greater the offering to the gods. They then drink the blood of the sacrifice because the chemical expression of that terror releases an adrenaline into the blood, which to them is like a drug. It's like a high. When they drink the blood, they go bloody wild often. And this is where adrenochrome comes from.
The True Geordie podcast.
Yep.
Bill Gates is very interested in your water while everyone's distracted with indictments and celebrity
Yeah, did you hear about this?
BS. Bill Gates, BlackRock, and Nestle just quietly teamed up. Yes, Nestle. Same company whose chairman literally said water isn't a human right. And now they're making moves to own it. This isn't speculation. It's already happening. Gates is buying up farmland that sits on major aquifers. BlackRock is pouring billions into water infrastructure. And Nestle? Still extracting millions of gallons while local communities run dry. They're not just buying land, they're buying access.
I'm glad I live near Lake Ontario.
To rivers, lakes, groundwater. They're investing in the tech to monitor, track, and reroute where water flows and who gets it. This isn't about conservation. This is about control. Food already controls people, but water controls
Save some of your rainwater.
everything. You can live without oil. You can survive without power. But water? You've got days. They already run agriculture, finance, and energy. Now they want to own survival itself.
Yeah. That was the end of that one. What was the next one? Oh, the government thrives on the...
So I read the continuing resolution proposal that the Democrats sent out so that you didn't have to, and I'm going to tell you what's inside of it. This is a continuing resolution bill. This is to keep the government open for another 6 more weeks. First, nearly $500 million, like $490 million, goes straight to PBS. How is that prioritizing
PBS, their left-wing mouthpiece?
the American people? Secondly, they want 157.
Have everyone else got sound? Let me know if you can't hear. Marianne said she has no sound.
$7 million set aside for Congress
Marianne, try popping out and popping back in.
itself. They want additional security
Says on
for
my
members
end,
of
I'm sending it
Congress, residential security systems, and $10 million for upgrades in security to the state office. I'm sorry, but average Americans are living in cities that are ridden with crime. Oh, but that's not even the
Can everyone else hear this?
best
Oh,
part.
you have sound. Okay.
They are asking
Must
for
be you, Marianne.
$174,000 each in death gratuities to 3 dead members of Congress. It's tragic, and I'm sorry for the loss of those members of Congress. But ordinary Americans don't get 6-figure payouts from Congress when one of our family members dies. So why are we paying for them? And then finally, one of the biggest things on this bill, y'all aren't even going to believe this, $437 million for the European Bank of Reconstruction and Development. Yeah,
Money laundering.
that's American taxpayer money.
And they take that money so that they can keep putting themselves even more in power, stronger positions in power.
Being sent to boost Europe's economy. Not to fix our border, not to lower inflation, but actually to spend more of our money to buy 40,000 shares in a country we don't live. Make sure that you share this so that people understand what we're really fighting against.
Yeah, amen on that. They're always scheming to grab more power.
For years, Wayfair was selling furniture with the same name as missing girls. For example, in 2019, a 17-year-old girl from Ohio named Samaya went missing. Then, a few days later, Wayfair listed a Samaya 5 shelf storage cabinet for almost $13,000. In 2020, a 16-year-old girl from Connecticut named Yuritsa went missing. And a few days later, the Yuritsa storage cabinet went up for sale on Wayfair for just under $14,000. May 2020, from Kansas City, a 14-year-old girl named Annabelle goes missing. Same storage unit, sold on Wayfair. Annabelle with the same selling.
The other reason for it is that they had biolabs there in Ukraine.
For just under $11,000. January 2020, Kyla Coleman, 16 years old from Cleveland, goes missing.
Can you hear now, Miriam?
You can already guess. Wayfair, same name. This one discounted for $12,000. Everyone always called this a conspiracy theory until now, when a receipt from Wayfair was found in the Epstein files. Look, we know that Jeffrey Epstein's network has a history with missing girls. Don't forget this picture of John Benet Ramsey and Ghislaine Maxwell lurking in the background. Back to the receipt. It was purchased by Karina, Jeffrey Epstein's longtime girlfriend, on June 28th, 2018. It was for one item totaling $8,400. And I've tried, but I can't find out what the item
They're actually selling kids for those prices.
Was. What I do know is that on June 23rd,
what they were doing is using the missing kid's name and naming these things. And then they were actually marketing him this way and saying they were selling items, but they were using the name of the kid that was missing.
5 days prior, a girl named Joanna went missing from Columbus, Ohio. And still to this day, she has never been found. But back in the day when this conspiracy was spreading online, there was a high-priced Joanna cabinet circulating in the chats from the same WFX utility company. Just for context, the WFX company is still selling the same storage units on Wayfair, but they're only $139. Jeffrey Epstein's girlfriend, Karina, wasn't just making purchases on Wayfair. She's also active in the files for making purchases off of Etsy. We know that back during this time, Etsy also had some very weird postings. The reality is that none of this proves anything, but it does make you think that if this type of activity was happening, who was behind selling these items to Jeffrey and his network?
Yeah. All right, this guy's got a lot of humor. He goes and asks liberals ridiculous questions, and they are actually for it. Watch this.
Hi, sorry, I hope I didn't scare you. I'm Finn, and I'm with the Chicago Public Library, and I was wondering if you had a second to talk about a petition we're circulating.
Sure, what's it about?
So I'm the head of the librarians for the Approved Reading Division, or libtards, and what we do is we just try to make sure that children have access to all the books in the database, because there's a lot of book banning going on, which I'm sure you're aware of.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah, so is that something you'd be willing to sign today?
Yeah, I think
awesome. So. You could just put your name, and then where it says library or lib, if you could just put the Approved Reading Division, or TARD.
Okay.
Great.
Or TARD.
This is so important. Awesome. And then with that, that's okay. You get a couple pieces of swag.
Oh, thank you.
So your signature today, just to let you know, is going to help save over 200 children's books on assault weapons and guns.
What?
Yeah.
Whoa. No, absolutely not.
Why not?
Why?
Are you a book banner?
No, absolutely not.
Well, I thought you just agreed kids should have access to all the available books out there.
Not those.
Oh, so only certain books about men cross-dressing?
Well, what?
So what, you don't want them to have access to all the available books, just the ones you like?
Oh, whoa, don't put words in my mouth.
Okay, so what's wrong with it?
No.
Are you a book banner?
No, I don't approve of what you're doing.
Okay, so do you think maybe conservatives don't approve of kids reading books about men that like to cross-dress?
I don't know.
Okay. So should I let the other libtards know you're with the book banners? Or
No.
Okay. So
I have to go.
Ma'am, I have one more question. Would you be willing to support our initiative to ban automobiles? Because vehicles like this cause as many deaths per year as guns.
No.
No? Okay. So I guess they're not really about saving lives or books. Bye, ma'am.
All right. Here's a little Lucille Ball. You have to kind of be watching to see this one. So here you go.
Hello, friends. I'm your Vitamita Benjamin girl. Are you tired, run down, listless? Do you poop out at parties? Are you unpopular? The answer to all your problems is in this little bottle. Vitamita Benjamin. It's so tasty, too. It's so tasty, too. It's so tasty, too.
You gotta see the faces.
The answer to all your problems is in this
You gotta
little
see the
bottle.
faces.
Little bottle. So why don't you join the thousands of happy, peppy people and get a great big bottle of Vitamita Benjamin? Well, I'm your Vitamita back girl.
And now she's getting drunk.
Are you tired, run down, and listless? Do you pop out at parties? Are you unpopular? Well, are you? So you have to take a whole tablespoonful after every meal. It's so tasty, too.
All right, here's the leftist in Minneapolis. I'll turn down the sound a little bit because they do all the whistling and yelling. But full meltdown.
Whose streets? Our streets! 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 Yeah.
I don't know how these ICE people take it.
What? Look at me. Look at, oh, good job, dude. Real intimidating. You're brown. You're not white. You're brown. You know that, right? You look in the mirror and see a white person.
So what difference does that make if he's brown or white? He's American, and he's standing up for America.
Fuck you. You're brown. Fuck you. Fuck you.
I'd put those whistles up there. You know what?
No, actually,
I'd definitely be wearing the earplugs if I was them.
Oh, I think one is reading the instructions.
No.
In Color Revolutions, this is exactly what they do.
Yeah, I noticed you guys didn't get your cameras yet. Right here.
Is it on?
Is it on?
There you go.
There you go.
Smile. Make sure you smile.
There you go.
It's not in a place that's looking up at the sky.
Yeah, get your best side.
Epstein,
You know, they are starting to arrest more of them that are harassing him. That's a good thing. And they've also gone to those chat things and catching them. I think they'd be wearing that whistle around their throat. Just ask me.
If you want to go that way, go around. Okay. You can go around. Can you just let me go here? I'm on the sidewalk. I can't do it. Once we're done with our job,
if you loved your job, that's take your phone with mask off your job right now.
Look at all these people. Why would I take them off?
Yeah, because you're proud.
They should have cripped them with earplugs, I tell you.
Because you're loud and proud, dude.
Look at them all masking. We're afraid of germs? Not masking because of cold. Look at what happened is they deliberately cut their tire so that they'd have to change it, and then they could all surround them and harass them. And they're stopping them and slowing them down. See, they got people coming the other way. He's going to pull out and cut in front of them.
Who's some of the first people to wear masks like that?
You wouldn't think you'd have that many white people so much that wanted to get illegals in here. I hope they blow out their horn. Guy's directing a bus through. You think they have something better to do? Boy, they're definitely earning their pay. I tell you that. That's beyond annoying. They're like those little kids that roll around on the floor throwing a tantrum to me. I know. Can you imagine it? They'd have to lose it. And then they go back to their hotels and they're harassed. They're harassed 24 hours a day. 24 hours a day they're harassed. Now they're blocking the road down there. See, they're blocking the road so they can't get out. There's some gray van going the wrong way there. It's blocking them both.
Behind you, the Cannon teacher behind you. Have a great day. Thank you.
They tell them have a great day. Yeah, they tell them that kind of stuff. It triggers the left, I tell you that. It certainly does do that. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I think of. This lady's not even wearing a mask. He's an ICE agent. A lot of respect for her. Tell them to go take a crap. Maybe they'd feel better. I can't imagine once it gets warmer, they'll be out even more.
Nothing bad is happening.
They go and slash their tires. They cut their belt stems.
You guys recording it, as long as you guys maintain the safety distance. It's all for the safety of everybody that's here, okay?
And we don't want people to blow up the shop.
Yeah.
And get my good side, always.
Get my good side.
Appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Always. See, now they're starting to play with it, I think. I was trying to find the one on the train. I'm looking for it. They always got to get their way, don't they? They think they got to get their way. Now they harass them here when they go to get gas and stuff. A lot of them knock their drinks out of their hands and stuff like that. You don't want to buy anything but a bottle drink, if they even let you buy anything. I'm surprised some places won't even let you get gas there. I have a lot of respect for them. They're doing a good job, if you ask me.
I got you.
I got a good one to follow this one up. I can find that toddler one.
Am I going to be around the area? No comment? No comment.
It's hard for them to even get a meal at a restaurant or anything with all these nuts. See how they're all white liberals? All white liberals. Freaking nuts. Socialism. This one's pretty good.
As I walk through the city overrun by the left, I take a look at Tim Walz and realize he's so inept. Cause he's been scheming and frauding so long that even Melania thinks he's a big ding-dong. But I never crossed a lab who didn't deserve it. Now you get called out by Trump, I hope that it's worth it. You got my ICE agent stressing with your protesting.
Oh, I gotta turn
so
the
please
sound
follow
back up.
orders or they'll be arrested. I hate to power trip, but I gotta though. Got no paper, send you back to the land below. Fool, you the type of bee to come and drive an SUV over the police out of spite. Then you crash into street lights. Them spending most damn nights at a protest while they swear at ICE. Sometimes they pay a price at a protest while they swear at us. I must protect the nation and solve inflation, so I'm asking you to quit. Ain't got time for this shit, so we need to let ICE do their jobs now. Don't you have a CVS somewhere to rob now, fool?
All right, this lady says, hey, America, temporary means temporary. It means if you're temporarily here and it expires, you go back.
Hey, America, what's the point of any law? I'm asking you a serious question today because if deadlines don't matter, if temporary doesn't mean temporary, like some Democrats and Republicans claim, well, then what's the point? They're trying to rewrite laws based on feelings and then tell the American people that it doesn't matter. So what's the point of laws? Temporary protected status was created for one reason only, that it's temporary humanitarian designation for foreign nationals who came from a home country because they were facing a specific crisis. This was never amnesty. This was never citizenship. This was never a guarantee to stay forever. TPS has expired. That means Haitians who were granted temporary protection status should be returning home under the law. That's exactly what we've been asking for. But now you have politicians that are saying, let them stay.
Do you see that there's some Republicans starting a cave that want to give them permanent status if you're here? And then we'll keep the border shut again? And we've already done that game before.
Because this feels empathetic, because they contribute to the economy, because they take jobs, apparently, that American citizens won't take. I'm tired of the excuses because feelings actually don't get to override federal laws. And let me tell you something, if they do, then nothing in this country matters. So let me ask this. Why should anybody...
Oh, some of those leftists are getting paid pretty good to do that.
...in America reapply for a license? Whether you're a hairdresser, dentist, lawyer, electrician, anybody who needs a license today, ask yourself, if your license expires, just keep working. Tell the government you're a good person, that you contribute to the...
If you went with some of that skunk spray or something and start spraying them with that skunk stuff.
...the economy, that you don't want to apply. You get pulled over for a speeding ticket, don't pay the ticket. Just explain you worked hard this year for your family and you feel that the fine is just, unfair. Taxes due? Well, no need to pay them. After all, deadlines are flexible, right? I mean, that's what I'd love to tell the state of Ohio. That's hypocrisy, and the immigration debate is just exposing it. If temporary status never expires, then the law is optional. And if the law is optional, well, then enforcement is dead. And enforcement is dead, well, then Americans are fools for following the rule of law. You can't demand obedience while asking citizens to follow the law and rewarding violations from non-citizens. That is not how the rule of law works. That's actually how it collapses.
Does it cost that much to get this skunk spray? I think I would try that over the other stuff.
And a country without the rule of law,
smelling like that for days.
That means it doesn't exist anymore. So ask yourself one question. Why does the rule of law exist? And why are politicians, Democrats and some Republicans, fighting so hard, whether it's temporary protection status or anything else? Because I'm telling you now, if somebody can overstay a visa for under temporary protection status, just say, for instance, well, then what stops them from overstaying work visas, visitors visas, student visas? And that's why we have a decline and an immigration crisis. And that's why we have a crime crisis. And that's why we have continued crisis when people...
And they get on the welfare and all that, and we're paying for it forever. And they're getting Social Security numbers and collect on Social Security, disability, all that kind of stuff.
...violate the law. And why are U.S. citizens following it if it's optional? This is hypocritical, and it needs to end now.
Yep. All right, this is what they're putting in our classrooms. Watch this. I might play it a couple times.
No Donald Trump! 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 No Donald Trump!
They're teaching that in the classrooms. Unbelievable. I won't play it twice. I thought it was a slightly different one. All right, here's Terrace Williams.
Mass unfettered immigration.
Mr. Chair, will you
let
let
in
him know that when I asked him
Tom does belong to housing stock. 10 and 20 million immigrants.
Can you shut
the housing stock of working Americans, and can you maintain some level of dignity?
Gentleman's time has expired.
No, my time has not expired.
Your time has expired.
Yeah. Oh man, Please retire. Ben Burkwa. She's always good.
Not a single cop out here. They're letting the protest, the activists, control the entire city right now, shutting the streets down. There are no cops out here. This is what abolish the police looks like. You got these leftists in their yellow jackets. No, who knows what kind of training they have? Who knows? I'm sure they gave it to them, but who knows what training they have? These guys are out here shutting streets down. I can't imagine the liability that this puts the city in if something bad happens. That's crazy. Minneapolis is falling, guys. We got to stop this cancer from spreading.
Oh, they're trying to make it spread to all the other. It's starting to a bit. Everyone see that? I'll play it again. I'll play it again. Watch closely. I liked it. Here we go. I'm sorry, I like that one. She needs to be slapped, I tell you that. All right, here's someone talking to a leftist for Bandani in New York. This is ridiculous.
What do you say to those folks who say, well, if you tax millionaires, they're going to leave the city, and the top 1% pays 40% of the taxes in the city, so what happens if they leave? What's your response?
Well, that's what I would say. It's like we should take their business, and we run it like for the city ourselves.
So if they take
I thought they didn't want to work, though.
Their business to Florida, you feel like you can keep it here?
I mean, they can't leave the building. They can't just bring their whole entire workforce to Florida, right? They can't bring all of the resources that they have.
They have a lot of equipment and tools in there.
To build the business here to Florida, right? That's a whole thing.
And they can probably get something for the building.
And that's where you would even say, if we're building a real movement, right, to stop that, we'd also make it illegal for them to actually leave, right? We would find
what are you going to do? Arrest them?
Send them to hell if they're going to try to abandon their property here, right? Because clearly people do
instead stay there and go bankrupt, right?
Need to work, right? People do need to make a living.
So that's Charles Berry, and while that might have been one of the craziest things I've ever heard in hundreds of street interviews, what matters more is that he's a teacher for New York public schools. Imagine that garbage being spewed.
That's one of the teachers.
In your kid's class.
Isn't that insane? All right, middle schoolers in Utah. This is Utah, a very Republican state, walking out, staging a protest. And they're throwing stuff and hitting trucks. That kid needs to get his face whooped. They actually tell the truth, huh? He got screwed on his end, yeah. These kids are growing up as commies. They're so programmed in the schools. Propaganda.
J-Thing.
No hate, no fear. Immigrants are welcome here. No hate,
no illegals welcome here.
no fear. Immigrants are welcome here. No hate.
I see you, Freddie. I see you. Get out of the fucking road.
You know, that's not natural for Utah. These teachers are pushing this. They're going to be voters soon.
I feel bad for my sister because we ain't had
I only seen a mother that got beat up by these leftists.
Ronnie!
You can't tell me me that's natural to kids.
Hey. Immigrants are welcome! No fear! Immigrants are welcome!
A lot of them are girls.
No fear! Immigrants are welcome! No fear! Immigrants are welcome! Hey! No fear!
Yeah, you have to read through it, Marianne.
No fear! Hey! Fear!
They'd rather do that than go to the classrooms, huh? Well, they're being taught hate, really.
Oh, Santos pissed.
I bet that was fun for all the kids. See, a lot of them are illegals here anyways. The video doesn't have sound on this last little bit here. Look at the color to their hair.
Bro, they all... Immigrants are welcome here! No hate! No fear! Immigrants are welcome here! No hate! No fear! Immigrants are welcome here! No hate! No fear!
I'd probably not be able to shut my mouth. I'd say, thank you, ICE. Thank you, ICE, for the great job you're doing. Unbelievable. That's Utah.
The Seattle Police Union told Socialist Mayor Katie Wilson to shove it over her anti-ICE order. The union essentially told her, "We'd help, but we're tied up rearresting the guys that you freed yesterday." Seattle's mayor had issued orders to local police directing them to investigate, verify, and document activity by ICE for potential prosecution.
Got to go,
the Seattle Police Officers Guild president responded to Wilson's order by posting this on X. Toothless virtue signaling rhetoric like this has already cost 2 people their lives. The concept of pitting 2 armed law enforcement agencies against each other is ludicrous and will not happen. Toothless virtue signaling, the most accurate description of Seattle's government since they tried to fight crime with a mural, a hashtag, and body odor.
Please like, comment, and subscribe.
That's pretty bold to stand up to their mayor, because their mayor could get them fired, I bet.
Oh, Eric Schmidt was not playing today. Check this out.
Are deportations racist? Are deportations racist? It depends. They can be racist, for sure. Is ICE racist? I think the practices of ICE right now are abhorrent and should be abhorrent, exactly as you said, for American values. I think the practices of ICE right now are
That's why they can use
organizations are racist.
That's why they can use them, Marianne.
Enforcing immigration and customs laws per se is not racist. What ICE actually is doing, I believe, can fairly be characterized as racist.
Right. What they're doing is racist. Doing their job. Doing their job is racist somehow, right?
Citizen found 2 things. One is you're funded by George Soros, correct? The Open Society Foundation is one of our funders, yes. And you call just about everything you don't like racist. That is not true. But okay, well, let me give you a few examples. Sure. On December 11th, 2019, Public Citizen tweeted that the banking sector as a whole is racist. On August 17th, 2021, Public Citizen sent in a press release that algorithmic racism was a major problem. And that
he's got a list behind him, 20 things that group finds racist. Basically everything that they can't control.
That we need to start creating anti-racist algorithms. On December 23rd, 2020, Public Citizen tweeted that our
how is an algorithm racist?
Healthcare system is a racist abomination. On April 17th, or on April 7th, 2023, Public Citizen tweeted that expelling 2 Tennessee state reps for violating the legislature's rule was racism. On April 15th, 2021, Public Citizen tweeted that law enforcement in this country has been overrun by racism. On June 25th, 2020, Public Citizen tweeted, "Racism is the reason DC is not a state." On January 15th, 2019, Public Citizen tweeted that asking about citizenship status on the census was racist. On August 24th, 2020, Public Citizen tweeted, "Defund our racist, hyper-militarized, murderous American police force." On July 10th, 2020, Public Citizen tweeted that law and order is a racist dog whistle.
Hey, Mr. Fixer.
Do you stand by these statements? Well, I appreciate the depth to which you've gone and researched in the context of all those statements. Yes. So all of those things are racist. If you want to go through them, we can talk. So here's I'm really glad. Hold on. I'm glad for this moment.
Yeah, but you can program those patterns.
To sidestep that.
To look for
but what you have shown in the questioning we've seen before, and just these examples, the public interest isn't your interest at all. It is not your interest at all. You use racism as an attempt to intimidate people to get your way. And it's not 2020 anymore. The American people are over it. So what you're going to find is we're going to prosecute, and it has nothing to do with race. We're going to prosecute because fraud was committed on a level that is so offensive to this country. Your words that don't mean anything aren't going to stop what's coming. And I want you to take that back to George Soros and all these ridiculous funders you have to try to muddle the issue, because justice is coming. And by the way, if I have it my way, we will denaturalize all these fraudsters and send them home.
Mic drop.
It was a mic drop on that one.
So this is an email from the files to E, and the other people in it are redacted, of course, except for Ariana Rothschild. And it says, got it. Amazing old male, amazing hunt. My bankers should be careful. They talk a lot about hunting in the files, and it seems a lot like they're talking about hunting people. Like in this one, it says snipe hunt is over. M crickets in the field bag. Guess what? They're N-words. In this one, the sender and the receiver are redacted, but it says Jillian, which is often what Ghislaine Maxwell was referred to as. I didn't get your email. Did you talk to Jane? Is everything okay? Can we talk about the treasure hunt for girls on the island? We will be there in January 4th. Give me your private phone number. Do you miss me yet? Love, love. And Hollywood has been hinting at this for a while now, like this movie, The Hunt, where elites go out in the woods to hunt a human being. It seems like the more that I dig into these files, the more disgusting and demonic things seem to get. What do y'all think about this? Let me know down in the comments.
Yeah, that was The Hunt. The Hunt was a movie that they made and put out there. Didn't get that many likes or watched that much. All right, this is from Gays Against Groomers. Shocking thing about pedophiles being a teacher here.
David Fawcett is a 58-year-old Wisconsin school teacher at the Madison Public School District. He was arrested yesterday for possession of child pornography. And we can't say we're surprised, because when you go to the Madison Public School District website, there is a link that says LGBTQIA+, a YouTube video of inclusive LGBTQ staff members.
Want all our LGBTQIA++ staff.
I'm a trans and non-binary science teacher.
Of Kennedy Elementary School staff, we want to say
teaching our kids.
Happy National.
Who the hell would send their kids to an elementary school where all the staff are telling...
No, this is a gay guy saying this.
Little kids who they're proud to sleep with and their gender identity. That is a petri dish for sickos who look at child pornography.
Yep. I'll catch up with chat shortly. Here we go. Watch this. They want this school board person out. School board meeting. Watch this.
Okay, so I'm at the Cass County School Board.
No, you're the Atlanta Community School District. Don't say Cass County.
Okay, Atlanta Community School District. And it does look like she will be going to jail sometime very soon.
You're going to let somebody resign, walk off, and go do this shit again.
Oh, this is a misunderstanding. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Haven't crossed the line yet.
After 3 weeks of making people wait for it. Oh, yeah, we're just going to let him resign. You walked him out of the school. It didn't even tell people in that school were never told about why he was walked out of that school.
Let's not talk about other people. The other administrators of the buildings didn't know. You couldn't even tell the other administrators?
Hell, you had a mental health therapist wrote you an email said that this dude was a predator. She's known him her entire life. And your exact words were?
So she was hiring pedophiles for the school board because she liked them.
Well, high school girls, they flirt with their male teachers all the time.
I wouldn't put past these people either.
Pathetic thing to fucking say.
Holy
gross,
shit.
pathetic thing to say. That is just fucking disgusting. How dare
Super
you
liberal,
say
yeah.
that about my fucking daughter? That she's gonna flirt with some gross 35-year-old fucking
Look
man.
at him.
No, you look at me when
Look
I
at
talk
him in
to
the
you.
eye. Because this is the man I was going to bring to the meeting.
And you're lucky that I didn't show
that I
up
should
that
bring
day.
all of the parents. Remember? You said
That's
that.
the
Why
lady
did you
that's
bring them
behind
bring
it
them all?
all.
You want me to come up there? No, because I would have walked out and
She keeps hiring all these pedophiles to go into their classrooms.
cuffs because I'm not fucking here with this. You're lucky this man is not in the fucking ground by my fucking hands. And this is your negligence and your fucking bullshit.
This
that
is
you
in
put all
Iowa.
these people's kids through. Your fucking head is gonna roll. Your fucking job is done. All you motherfuckers. These are our fucking children that we're in here trying to protect. You're gonna sit there with that fucking gross look on your face like you didn't do fucking nothing wrong. Fuck you.
That's what a dad looks like after his kids had to go through this bullshit.
That's a calm dad.
So they found out that this lady hired these pedophiles, and these pedophiles were trying to sleep with the young girls and the young kids. That's why. That's why they're upset. Now, this is the way another another school board handled it. They said, that they could go to these public school meeting, and then they get denied because then they say, oh, you need this, 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 and this, and ID and everything with you to get into the meeting. They won't even let them into the meeting. Watch this. That's a good idea. Yeah. Every elementary school should be a Christian. I agree.
Have you ever having visited before? So unless you have an ID, we can't let you pass.
You're denying access to the disabled veteran that served her country?
Yeah, I forgot that she was a disabled veteran, but that's someone that speaks up. They're picking and choosing who can go into these meetings.
She gave you name and date of birth. Run it through the fucking system.
Anyone who comes in.
Jackass. There's a cop right there. Run it through NCIC, clear it for warrants and background, and let the disabled veteran go to an open public meeting. She gave you her name and date of birth.
What do you need, a driver's license number?
A driver's license.
The physical just for see and I can send you. And if you can show me
Can we see a picture of the ID?
They changed the rules just to keep her out.
Yep. Yep. No, not a picture of it.
It's for a scanner. 0314.
Tug of war between couple trucks.
16.
A little bit different.
Well.
You see those trucking things today? I think I got that still coming up. I'm not sure if I downloaded it.
Still on
I think I just shared it. I didn't download it.
You can take that.
This is okay for mine. Oh, yeah.
You told me previously if someone didn't have an ID, you could run their information through the system and still give them access. That shouldn't be a criteria for people who don't have an ID. A whole group of citizens are disenfranchised that don't happen to have their ID on the day they go for the first time to an open public meeting at FCPS. She gave you name and date of birth. Run it through NCIC. There's a cop right there. You're so concerned about warrants. Check it.
You're good, Esther. 301. Sir, you know the board's procedure.
No, I don't, because you told me previously that if you gave name and date of birth, you'd be able to search through the system. And you didn't give that caveat the last time, sir. You're changing. You're backtracking.
I'm not backtracking.
So you're denying access to a disabled veteran who served her country because of what? She gave you name and date of birth.
They don't want her talking.
Ramp to the right.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
They're so desperate to get these pedophiles in the schools and groom these kids.
Can you run her?
I can, but that doesn't change.
Great. Hey, he can run her. He's right here. Why don't you allow the disabled veteran to open public meeting access?
So they have access if they provide the identification as required by the board.
It just got changed 10 minutes ago.
You got a cop right there. He can run her through the sex offender background, NCIC for warrants. And that is what you're saying. The whole purpose of your screening is for safety. There's a cop right there. He can run her for everything through NCIC. How about we submit to a background check through NCIC so she can get in?
So you know the procedures.
No, I don't know the procedures because you fucking change them every time I come here. You keep making shit up.
It's the same
no, you said that someone that shows up without an ID can still get in because they can be run through the system. And now you're saying they need to have an ID at least once. You didn't say that before. See, in the old days, we used to tar and feather motherfuckers like you. I long for the days of old.
Yep. All right. Here's the commies. They're going to take the protest of the Hilton hotels because they've been letting ICE in. They're going to take it nationwide.
My name is Aru. I'm the executive director of the Sunrise Movement, and I live in South Minneapolis. I grew up in South Minneapolis, so I've been on the ground here. For the last 3 weeks. So our task as organizers, as people on this call, is to pick
on the ground the last 3 weeks. So she's not actually there. She just came back there.
That we can prove are winnable, that are also really public, and show people that everyday people can take it to billionaires, take it to corporations, and actually win. That's why at Sunrise, in addition to doing our student organizing, we've been going after the hotels that have actually been housing ICE in Minneapolis. And we're taking this campaign nationally to do it around the country, to actually show hotel after hotel that they have more to lose than they have to gain from standing with ICE. And we've been doing all kinds of things. We've been waking them up in the middle of the night. We've been booking out their reservations. We're running a campaign to revoke their liquor licenses.
Now, if they book those reservations, shouldn't there be a penalty for canceling those reservations?
We're calling them. If you go to,
but then they got all our tax dollars.
Hilton's social media, you'll see, we didn't even ask people to do this, but you'll see every single video that they post these days is just spammed with comments saying you're housing ICE. And the reason that this is important is not just that everyday people run society and taking away ICE's ability to sleep places actually stops their ability to operate, but it's also that things like a Hilton campaign can prove to people that when ordinary people organize, we can knock down key pillars of society that are upholding authoritarianism. And it proves that same logic that a strike proves. It's like a campaign that can do the same thing and prepares people to be strike ready. So that's what we're doing right now. We're organizing young people. We're organizing these corporate campaigns that can prove the logic. And we are doing that all as we're building towards the day-long strike on May 1st. And it's all about the same thing, right? It's about building the capacity that we need so that ordinary people can shut down society and force billionaires to give us the world that we deserve.
I agree.
Thanks, y'all.
Colin, I agree.
Why do we allow them to continuously push this narrative that Americans live on stolen land, when in reality it was settled and conquered? So when the Pilgrims arrived in the New World, they would be threatened by a tribe called the Narragansett. They had placed a bundle of arrows wrapped in snakeskin at the Pilgrims' camp. And that's when the Pilgrims were approached by the Wampanoag. These were the Thanksgiving Indians, and they didn't approach the Pilgrims out of kindness. They did it to form a military alliance because the Wampanoag were being killed by the Narragansett. So the Pilgrims had been invited in because these tribes had been killing one another, and the first Thanksgiving was part of a military alliance. Well, fast forward 50 years, and this guy, John Sassaman, would be murdered. He was an Indian who had converted to Christianity and planned to warn the Pilgrims that the Wampanoag had planned to attack them. There would be a trial with 12 jurors, 6 of whom were Native American, and 3 Wampanoag men would be executed for the murder of John Sassaman. 16 days later, the Wampanoag would start King Philip's War. And in the end, the Thanksgiving Indians wouldn't lose because of the Pilgrims. They would get massacred by the Mohawk Indians as they tried to approach the Mohawks to form an alliance, but the Mohawks killed them instead. And the leader of the Wampanoag would also be killed by other Native Americans. And that's what actually happened to the first Thanksgiving Indians. And this is what the world was. The Mohawks were, of course, Iroquois. The Iroquois would essentially genocide all of these tribes during the Beaver Wars. Then they would join the colonists to fight against the French and the Huron in the French and Indian War, but they sided with the British in the American Revolution, and they were killing each other, and they were conquering each other, and in the end, they got conquered. And this is why diversity is strength was always a lie, because when different cultures and different civilizations come into contact with each other, there is conflict. But out of that conflict, our ancestors built one of the greatest civilizations in the history of the world. These were great conquerors who became champions of individual liberty, of restrictions on government government power, and the American people should be damn proud of that. But in the 1960s, the Marxists took over our school system, and they reframed our history as oppressed versus oppressors. And they took all of the truth, all of the nuance out of our history, and they taught our people to hate our ancestors, to hate themselves. And if you're one of these people who believe that we need to open our borders because we deserve to be conquered, that's because you've been brainwashed. That's crazy. You don't deserve to be conquered, and you should be damn proud of where you come from. Check out my private homeschool community.
Beaver
And comes to theirs, classiclearner.com.
Yep, beaver hats and all that kind of stuff. Hey, Colin, do they have beavers? They must have beavers in England, right? All right. Here's Karen Kennedy talking about they want to do amnesty. Congress does.
There will be no amnesty for illegal aliens. Stop trying. This ugly bill, House Resolution 4393, introduced by Maria Elvira Salazar, who is squatting in the state of Florida when she should actually have a D behind her name and be somewhere like Virginia, where the Wicked Witch of the East has descended upon humanity to destroy it. But that's what Democrats do. They love to go to the free states, to the red states, and poison them with their blue hell. Anyway, this rotten individual introduced, and is still sitting in introduced as a status, the Dignity Act. Bitch, that's not gonna pass. You got 35 moronic co-sponsors. One of them happens to be Gabe Evans in Colorado District 8. And we are not happy about that. I was not happy about it last year. And Gabe Evans and Jeff Hurd, y'all just keep voting with Democrats. What the fuck do we need you for? Interesting sub events, but
you're
let's
right,
stay on topic.
Like the Somalians, yeah.
Go look up HR 4393 and see what is proposed. It's amnesty.
16,
That's all you need to see.
6 to 10
There,
inches,
she talks about things like border security. Bitch, we already got border security. President Trump did that on day one. And my big, beautiful, bodacious wall is still being built, 5,000 miles of it, to keep all the illegals up out of here. See, you're partnering with corporations because I see here you got co-sponsors and you got a bunch of corporations, Miss Salazar, who agree with you. Of course they do, because they want the damn cheap fucking labor to keep coming in here.
Deep, they want it almost like slave labor.
Look.
And the Democrats like paying out all the welfare.
We don't want them here. Mass deportations. No amnesty.
100%, Marianne.
We have watched as we have spent $2 trillion on these freaking loser-ass illegal aliens from every country on earth. They came in here, the Democrats under Joe Biden and that Hindu Horus, Kamala Harris, gave these individuals the top of the line, top tier, maximum amount of benefits, including FHA loans at the highest rate they could, while American citizens, you get credit checked. You don't get FHA loans. They were getting business loans. Kelly Loeffler, the new SBA director, told us they've been getting small business loans that were forgiven, never had to pay back. They got a bunch of PPP loans during the pandemic, never had to pay them back. They got free. I'm going down the list. So if you don't want to hear it, close your ears or switch me off. I don't care. I still have people who know the truth and the truth sets them free and they want to hear what I got to say. By God himself.
The original
free housing,
immigration,
free apartments, luxury apartments, luxury hotels,
give me a
free
strength.
jobs with Uber, Lyft, free dental services, free braces. There's a place in Aurora and parts of Denver called Risas. They provide braces for illegals. at taxpayer expense, of course, to pay the subsidies. They were getting free health care, free vision, free catastrophic care, free homes, free education, everything, free cars. They were giving them free scooters in New York. We watched it, bro.
Some were doing it under more than one name, too.
That was not that
I see
long
someone
ago.
with EBT cards to get
I
like
used to
3-4
watch
out of their
in
pocket.
horror every single day, going up I-25 with a bus full of illegals. There would be like 20 buses, 30 buses every single day going up to Denver. They dropped some of them off in Colorado Springs. Do you know how now I got like PTSD about that shit now? When I see charter buses, I'm like, who the fuck is on that bus?
Free whites.
Because it was just too, it was too much. We watched in horror every single day as 20,000 illegal aliens a day poured into this country. And we were just overrun. We were overwhelmed. We were literally invaded. They drove costs up for housing. They drove costs up for healthcare. They drove costs up for car insurance because they couldn't get insurance on their own because they're illegals, and they were causing wrecks left and right. And then they run away from the wreck, and they were making so much money from the federal and state governments, they could just go buy a new car. But the insurance rates increased, and we had to pay the cost. Believe me, I know. I'm still paying. No amnesty.
Amen.
No amnesty. Do you hear me, Maria Salazar?
More of the same.
No amnesty. Do you hear me, Gabe Evans?
That's what they want.
No amnesty.
A lot of them make money off from it, on the left especially.
American citizens have to play by the rules. We have to obey the laws of this country. And I'll be shit if these illegal aliens are going to come here and get all of this support from congressional representatives who are working with corporations to keep the free, cheap labor here,
programming our kids with
and cut out American citizens. And then y'all say, well, these jobs, American citizens won't do them. No, bitch, they don't want to pay us what we're worth. They just want to bring in the third world.
Besides that, they've driven up the cost of living so much, it's hard to pay people enough for what's worth. The inflation is what they've done.
World invaders and replace us. That is the UN Migration Pact. Don't gaslight me. It does not work.
When I was a kid, I worked on farms.
No amnesty.
It used to be teenagers that worked on farms.
No amnesty. Mass deportations. ICE, baby.
Yep.
All day, all night. ICE.
And she lives in Colorado.
No amnesty. So, go to hell.
Here's a little humor next.
Mr. Secretary, last March, the president invoked the Alien Enemies Act, a notorious wartime law last used for Japanese internment. He said that he was responding to the Maduro regime's supposed invasion other acts of war against the United States. But in recent weeks, you, the Department of Justice, and our friends across the aisle have repeatedly said that we are not at war with Venezuela. Secretary Rubio, if that is true and we are not at war with Venezuela, will you advise the president to rescind his invocation of the Wartime Alien Enemies Act?
Well, that was a mechanism to remove people from our country that prevent grave danger. So, for example, we know for a fact that Tren de Agua is a very dangerous gang. In fact, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I may have been the first member of Congress.
This is a wartime act, Mr. Secretary.
Well,
are we currently at war with Venezuela?
No, we're not in a state of war in Venezuela.
Okay, the Supreme Court has described the Alien Enemies Act as a wartime power, our Supreme Court. And before now, the Alien Enemies Act was only invoked during the War of 1812, World War I, World War II, when it was used to intern thousands of innocent civilians. Are you really arguing that the president should be able to wield an internment law?
No, but we're talking about two separate things here. So you're talking about the state of Venezuela, or are describing the regime. And we're talking about, but what the president designated.
Invoked the Alien Enemies Act.
I know, Senator, but let me be clear with you. No, but what the president was talking about are these gangs that have, and these narco trafficking groups that are waging war on the United States. There's no doubt. These groups have waged war on the United States. They have waged, for example, Tren de Agua is not just a criminal gang presence in our street. It is a criminal gang directly responsible for narco trafficking.
The Trump administration has acknowledged that the vast majority of the men it rounded up and deported to torture under this law had no criminal records whatsoever.
We didn't torture
anybody. Over 75%.
Who did we torture? We haven't tortured anybody. We've arrested people that are members of gangs and we've deported them. We don't want gang members in our
Investigations
country.
have found that many of the men were here legally. If the administration is willing to lie about who it's targeting under this law, what protections do totally innocent people have against abuse? Again, I want to ask you, will you advise the president to rescind his invocation of the Wartime Alien Enemies
No, of course
Act?
not. I mean, these are people that are threats to the national security of the United States. But I've described this in hearings in the past, including
So
before
you're
you guys.
saying that we're at war?
We are absolutely, when it comes to narco trafficking groups and criminal gangs that are targeting the United States for criminal
We're in a
activity,
state of war.
There's no doubt about the fact that we're
So then,
confronting them in
do
a
the
warlike setting
international
because
laws
they're
of
waging
war
war on us.
apply, and do the Geneva Convention
They're waging
apply?
war against us and they're enemy combatants as a result of it.
Amen. Amen. Well said. Here's a little
So,
humor.
we've finally won. We have successfully excluded everyone from society who doesn't think like us. Society will finally be as inclusive as we've always wanted. Congrats to us. Well done, them there. We're in charge now. Well, now we gotta run things. What's first up on the list? It looks like we're completely out of money,
give her the
but we
finger.
need money to operate all the social services and
Yeah,
infrastructure.
me too, Tammy.
How are we out of money?
AI.
Now that
it's good for
everybody's
that.
on board with our sentiment that you shouldn't have to work because you're entitled to be taken care of by the government, no one's working. Yeah, so tell the government to start paying for things. We are the government now, and we have no money because no one's paying income taxes because we encouraged everyone to stop working. Huh, I never really thought that far ahead. Well, someone should have to give us money.
Jeez, just stands the reason, right?
Because you were clearly talking about me, so I want to know what you were saying because I'm curious.
This guy's a big leftist. He's in all the protests.
Meet Tahir Dale. A few of you guys have actually asked me, messaging me to expose him because you've seen him at so many protests. Well, here we go. I saw him in person. Now I'd like to introduce him, but I will just let the founder of the People's Forum do that for me. Manolo dos Santos, who has been arrested multiple times for being a violent protester and spent many years in Cuba meeting with the president of Cuba.
Thank you again to the New York Society for Ethical Culture. Again, we're honored to be here. We would now like to welcome to the stage a leader of our movement, an organizer with the Palestinian Youth Movement, who for the last 18 months, it's more likely that you saw him on the streets than at home, not just leading us at the front of protests, but engaging us in analysis, teaching in our spaces, and often reminding us about why we fight. I welcome Tahir Dale.
Just to piggyback on Manolo's points, this guy truly is at just about every protest, which is why I was hoping to actually have a conversation with him. Here he is speaking on the mic with his Gaza is the graveyard of the occupier shirt, a shirt that PYM gives out to their members. This propaganda shirt also comes in white. Tahir, just like I saw him at the protests that I went to, organized by the People's Forum, he's often signaling to other protesters. Here he is doing that at Times Square, and again at the City College of New York's encampments. He graduated from NYU, though, so further proof that these college campus uprisings were anything but authentic. They were calculated. And
on my mom's side, my great-grandfather fought in the Civil War and was a slave down there, what is Alexander Bay or whatever, the prison in Georgia there, and almost died.
Student Justice for Palestine, for example.
So he also got in the military. He said he was 16 when he was really like 14 or 15.
Already had a toolkit on October 8th on how to protest. Here he is again, and you might recognize the guy behind him. That's Mustafa Ali. We exposed him for being a paid protester in a previous video, and he was arrested at Columbia, yet no record of him actually being a student there. Now, Tahir is often stationed in Times Square and college campuses. Here you see him in the middle of the crowd where he can quietly escalate things, and just look at how violent that crowd is. Out of Tahir's entire, very vast professional protester portfolio, perhaps this photo will strike you the most. Why is Tahir one of the handful of people standing behind Mahmoud Khalil, this symbol of the violent anti-West protests we've seen all across the country? Khalil has recently said that it felt frightening that we had to reach this moment in the Palestinian struggle. We couldn't avoid such a moment. Khalil was referring to October 7th.
To me, it felt frightening that
we had to reach this moment in
No, they just had to kill people.
in the Palestinian struggle.
This man is not a citizen who has just said that it is frightening
like
that we, as in Hamas, had to rape and burn children alive, that we, Hamas, couldn't avoid doing that. The messaging of his shirt is subtle but important. It's a chain breaking, and the people facilitating most of these resources for the protests are the People's Forum. The People's Forum's whole mission is to teach revolutionary theory to young people. Tahar even teaches at their revolutionary summer school.
Means Marxism and how to overthrow a government.
So that his students rise up against capitalism and try to destroy the West. Most of the classes at the People's Forum are not about Zionism. They're about Marxism or socialism. And when you walk into their bookstore, you see books.
And all these left-wing groups are connected together under the whole Marxist banner, really. They're all connected that way. Every single one of them. Even Black Lives Matter, they're Marxists.
All about revolution. Roy Neville Singham, who I'm sure you know by now, a billionaire Marxist living in China, funds the People's Forum. He sold his IT consulting business for $785 million and now gives over $20 million to the People's Forum. He also just so happens to be married to Jody Evans of Code Pink, that group that's always harassing congressmen in the Capitol cafeteria.
Senator Cruz, Israel is committing genocide. You know, they're starving children.
You know, you really should stop cheering for the terrorists.
Now, it's difficult to believe that Roy and his wife didn't know about October 7th when just a day after they had young people storming the streets showing Israel as the oppressor while innocent Israelis were still being gunned down. Now back to Tahar, you can see him wearing that same shirt Khalil was as he speaks to young people. So who is Tahar really? He graduated NYU with a degree in mathematics in 2016. He's a Palestinian American and member of Brooklyn's Arab community, and is interested in teaching Arabic in the New York City public school system. As far as I can tell, that didn't happen. He went on to join the Communication Workers of America, which is the first major national union to call upon the U.S. to recognize Palestine as a state. Tahar worked at Verizon and now T-Mobile. Now, it's very possible that the reason he's behind Khalil is because he helped rally support from his union to use union resources for the protest, or maybe it's just because he can pronounce his name so well.
Mahmoud Khalil's freedom, and this is what Mahmoud Khalil and the movement.
In Tahar's speech, he urges the crowd to join all the scheduled marches they have planned across the country. He doesn't just criticize Israel, but the US for systemically planning a genocide against Gaza at every level. This is the playbook right before you. First you blame Israel and Zionism, and then you come after America, all while teaching the young people of our country about Marxism. He made many egregious claims in this speech, but the most blatant one being this.
The most conservative estimates indicate that more than 49,000 Palestinians in Gaza have been killed by the United States and Israel's aggression. The real death toll is estimated to be in the hundreds of thousands. Much higher than that.
Even the Gaza Health Ministry that is run by Hamas doesn't say that it's in the hundreds of thousands. We have people in the United States that are inflating a death toll that is shared by actual terrorists. Ladies and gentlemen, there are powerful forces living in our country who are trying to destroy the West.
Yep. Here's from Texas.
I mean, look at that dog over there. You think he wants to be tied to that chair waiting?
Oh, I got to start this at the beginning on here. You ready?
I mean, look at that dog over there. You think he wants to be tied to that chair waiting in the hot sun while his owner gets ice cream? Hell no! I am going to make people see that an animal's life is just as important as a human's.
Democrats
Go, fellow canine! Be free and enjoy life!
He's got my neck! My dog is dead!
Maybe that's why he was tied up.
Sorry, I find that funny, Zach. Oh boy. All right, this will bother you a bit. This is at a daycare center, so you gotta watch close. Watch this little girl in orange, and then this lady over here. Watch her take off her shoe.
so sorry. I didn't mean to actually hit you there. I didn't mean to actually hit you there. Are you going to be in the ear?
Didn't mean to. Looked to me like you aimed.
I actually did not mean to.
I read the post on it. It ends up damaging this girl's ear. Bad. Because it got her in the ear.
Okay, stop. Because first of all, you should have never been up.
Drone strike their meetings. Yeah, John. I think they're going to Mr. Fix them that by plane or something. But Zionists, I guess, are pro-Israel, but there's a lot of what do you call them? Conservative or whatever. The extremist ones. The average Jew isn't that way, but the Zionists, the extremist ones. I can't think of the right name for it right now, for the life of me. Anyways.
The 15-minute cities is something that the WEF has created called C40, and it's called C40 cities. I would urge you to certainly look on the internet about it, and then go to all of the TikTokers and see what they're really saying. Basically, you won't be able to drive a petrol or diesel car anymore. You'll have to buy electric. If you want food, you will get a calorie-controlled system sent to you by text saying, this is what you can eat today. This is what you can have today. If you violate any of these things, they'll freeze your bank account. That is the next step.
Yeah,
these are stages in which they're going to implement this stuff. And this was signed up by the WEF and the
I don't think they should have that job. They should have some type of mental test and see if they have an anger issue, you know?
WEF has signed up with our mayor.
But from what I was reading when I downloaded that one, I took it because it turns out that it really did damage that little girl's ear.
In London as the chair, and he has gone around the world to communicate this C40 to all of the countries in the world, and most of the countries are looking at adopting it. Now, I am going to abolish it. It is a hopeless position. We are going to be in an open prison, or
the New World Order, the economic forums, are the ones that are pushing this crap.
Or shall we say a COVID for all the rest of our lives. We will not be able to work unless it's in our 15-minute city. It's diabolical. It's not right. This is not the right thing. And it's been hidden from the public. No one's talking about it.
Yeah, they can control the electric cars. They can turn them off whenever they want. They can limit everything on that. I'm sure Collins here, they limit your driving in England. You got certain areas with the cameras. You can only go past a certain area. And that's it. And only so many miles a day. That type of thing. So here's more about what's happening with these nurses. I wouldn't go into a hospital now unless I absolutely have to.
Hey, so if you're a nurse or doctor and you're not doing anything outside of just your job.
A leftist nurse again.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Like, especially if you're in Minnesota, what the fuck are you doing?
Supporting America.
You have an obligation to your fucking communities to be doing more. You need to be preparing your communities. You need to be talking to your fucking neighbors. You need to be like gardening indoors, like prepping a fucking first aid kit for more than just yourself, like educating people, doing fucking something, because they will come for you and you will be sitting there whining like a little bitch, wanting everyone else to fucking protect you. Especially if you're fucking white, do something. I'm so sick and tired.
Oh, white's got to go and stop this, stop ICE. Ridiculous. Got to hear that again.
To you, especially if you're fucking white, do something. I'm so sick.
This is a mental state they put into our goddamn schools, programming these kids.
And tired of looking around and seeing all these fucking coworkers, all of these other like nurses that I work with that are inpatient, that are just like, oh.
She really needs someone to get right in her face over this crap.
I don't know, the politics. I just don't want to talk about it. No, your job is political. Shut the fuck up and do something. Yeah, no
piercings, nothing. She's a nurse. She's a nurse. And how would you like to have her as your thing? And wear a MAGA hat in there and see what happens to you. Wow.
Straight people, I have a question. When did you realize that?
This is funny. Now, there's a little bit vulgar in this, but it's funny. Okay?
you weren't gay.
When I came out my mama and that doctor slapped me on the ass, I turned around and slapped him back, said, dude, don't you be touching my ass. You get that nurse over there, she can slap my ass, but you don't do that. No, I'll box you, dude. That's when I knew I wasn't gay.
Huh?
That was the moment I realized I wasn't gay, when that doctor slapped me on the ass after I got born.
Eyebrows
They're
were
like, nope, ain't no dude playing with my ass. Hell no.
No, not mine either.
Tell you what, though, that nurse, she was fine as fuck, dude. I'm talking about she was fine. I still remember it today. I was like, hey, I don't really want to
Sorry, I can't remember what a woman looked like when I was a baby.
be getting on my mama's breast. Pop a tit, babe. Hell yeah. Yeah, that's when I realized I wasn't gay. I think that's the way it is for most straight men. There's never a eureka moment where you say, oh my God, I'm not gay. Now I got to go wash my mouth out after saying it like that. I love all of you, truly do.
So much for that. All right, here's some more humor. Oh, it didn't start.
Hello, can I help you?
Heard you have stolen land. You want to give it back?
Oh, that was just for TV.
Well, fuck you then, poser.
So much for that. There's beware of the World Economic Forum and Bill Gates and that.
Appeal coating is now applied to fruits and vegetables at major grocery stores, but there's more to the story than you've been told. Food companies have already been applying appeal coating to fruits and vegetables for 5 years. Since 2018, Costco has been selling apples and avocados that contain the appeal label, and Walmart has been selling cucumbers that contain the label since 2020. Appeal cannot be washed off with water and is made by processing grapeseed oil with the use of 2 solvents, being ethyl acetate or heptane. The base ingredients in appeal, which are mono and diglyceride.
You put your mega shirt over your holster, huh?
Triglycerides permit up to 21,000 parts per million of ethyl acetate and 23,000 parts per million of heptane in the final coating. They also permit up to 6% soap, 10 parts
I used to shop someone at Walmart, but I'm totally staying away from the food now.
per million of palladium, 3 parts per million of arsenic, 2 parts per million of lead, and 1 part per million of cadmium and mercury. The coating is classified as generally recognized as safe, which indicates that the FDA did not do its own safety review of it, and it was done by the food and chemical industry. And you may be thinking that if you buy organic, then you can avoid this, but that's not the case. The Organappeal label is approved for use in organic products. Back in 2002, the NOSB approved mono and diglycerides for use in organic food, but restricted their use to the general drying of food, specifically for potato mash mixes. Since the NOSB cannot find any favorable replacements, they have continued to allow its use, which has now been expanded to food coating. The company, which has gained the backing of high-level investors like Oprah Winfrey, Bill Gates, Katy Perry, the World Bank Group, and the Rockefeller Foundation, wants to fight food waste. Food waste is a significant issue that I've touched on many times. However, I believe this is a concerning Band-Aid solution to a much bigger problem, which is that people are disconnected from their food sources. Rather than stressing yourself out with looking at all the food labels to see which brands do and don't apply appeal, my recommendation would just be to buy fruits and vegetables directly from farmers who grow them.
You'd still get poisoned even if you peel them? I know they used to worry about what they sprayed on them. All right, for all those in the audience from like John and Tammy, this is about Texas. This happened in Texas. The Christian group ended up going up against the Muslim group. Now, the Muslim group had a lot of white liberals with them on the other side, and this is in Texas.
Come here! Come cross! That's fine, come cross! You're scared, it's fine. Hey, get your bear cub to drag you back, come on! You're scared, and it's fine. You're scared, and it's fine. Come on! Come on! Come on! Come on! Come on! Come on, Hassan Piker.
Sir, why are you out here demonstrating today?
Because Islam does not belong in my country. My dad fought these people in Iraq.
How do we stop Islamification in America?
End illegal immigration. That is how they are getting in. Americans who are willing to work, they work for cheaper, so companies hire them instead.
What would you say to President Donald Trump if you could say something to him right now?
If we do not end legal immigration, America as we know it will cease to exist in a matter of decades.
Would you like to explain what happened over there?
The police, they're upset that we're here, you know, and they're over there waving flags that aren't from this country, and they want us to do something. So, but we're not going to because we're better than that.
What do you want to come from?
I live in a trailer with
I want it to be highlighted. I want more Americans,
so
more
really
Christians to see what's going on.
We have to buy, but
before it's too late.
We tend to go to a store called Wegmans, and they use the local farmers at least, you know.
We end up like Europe.
I'll buy from you. Okay, that'd be cool. All right.
As an individual who lives in Beverly Hills, California, I am surrounded by the champagne.
She's going to explain all this. Watch this.
Socialists. I know their logic doesn't quite track, so I have created a simple demonstration just to showcase you what is good and what is bad according to liberals. Here we have celebrity/wealthy home, and here we have a normal home. This is located in Beverly Hills, California, and this is located at the southern border. Wanting you and your family to feel safe and protected is a normal human desire. So having gates surrounding your house is an excellent idea. I myself have gates surrounding my house, and so does every single liberal neighbor of mine. However, and please do pay attention, if you're a Republican, racist. And yes, there's American houses located just a few feet away from the southern border wall, so it is quite literally like their front gate. Gated and safe home for liberal, good. Gated and safe home for anyone else, bad. And when liberals talk about defunding the police, they don't mean in their neighborhood, hello, they mean in your neighborhood. Because let me tell you, in these neck of the woods, nobody loves using the police and the private security more than the liberals. In 2020, we had a celebrity couple as a neighbor, and during the BLM riots, the wife was on Twitter giving out money to the rioters. She would say, keep going, I will pay for your bailout. F the police, which was so ironic because when I would look outside my window, I saw the police department cars and private security cars just lining up her house, which was so ironic because when us peasants tried to call the police department, we couldn't even get through. And if anyone dares to dream about this kind of policing and safety in their neighborhood, girl, racist. Policing equals safe neighborhood. Safe neighborhood means higher property value. Higher property value equals generational wealth down the line. So what kind of freak would want to live in a safe neighborhood? I mean, it really makes no sense. You must be racist unless you're a liberal, because when it's liberal, that is accepted. Policing for liberals, good. Policing for anyone else, bad. This represents entrance point to an award show. This represents entrance point to our country. Since it's the liberals attending these award shows, it is perfectly fine to have lots of security in place to make sure that they feel safe and secure and taken care of. However, if an American citizen even dares to suggest that they want a safe and secure entry point into our country, racist. I hope this helped you clear a few things up. I have 1,000 more examples.
Totally well like that. All right, Minneapolis is rapid responder, the left, was effing around and found out. He kept harassing ICE, and so they arrested him.
Yeah. Let me tell you this right now, man. I'm a fucking ICE agent, and I got several of my fucking officers in here. This is your one and only fucking warning. I was just on the phone. No, you're not. So here's the deal. This is your one and only warning. I catch you here again, I'm yanking you out of that fucking car because you're taking pictures with your little GoPro and everything there. All right? Anything happens to our vehicles or anybody in here. It's not on. Yeah. If anything happens to our vehicles or anything that's in here, I'm coming straight for you. Okay. I will yank you out of that fucking car. I will fucking put charges on you, and I'll put you in the fucking domestic terrorist fucking app. And we got photos of your vehicle. That's fine. Yeah. Get the fuck out of here, man. Don't come back. All right.
I can't seem to find part 2 to this because they did end up arresting him. All right, I'll play this one.
So the majority of the people we serve don't have an address, so we allow them to use...
Oh, yeah, this is about the mail's addresses. So they register a lot of voters at this address. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a person right there that's just making up the names.
So the majority of the people we serve don't have an address, so we allow them to use our address if they register to vote and to get Georgia state ID. Because you have to have proof of residence, and so although we're not a shelter, we do allow them to use 201 Washington Street. Okay. So I can't even begin to tell you how many people have that address on their ID. And we've never run into any problem with that until this election.
Because they're cheating all along. They've been doing it for years.
And one of our board members got wind that they thought we're doing things not on the up and up because so many people have the address. But we've not...
Because it's not legal.
...heard any repercussion from it since, so... But it's just a way to, I mean, people have to have an address. And,
That's
so they can cheat elections.
The only way they can get ID, which you've got to have to do anything else, is to have an address. So we allow that. And we've done that for years. I mean...
Look at all those voters. You should have to go in person and show your ID with your address on it, and computerized now. You got AI. You should be able to scrub the voter rolls too.
You know, we'd always kind of been unsure about how many people were having us established as a mailing address in terms of a large. One day I walked in to a maid's house to pick up the mail, and Trevor was like, one of our ladies, the mail comes into our office, and she's like, "You've got to get this stuff in here." And I'm like, "Sorry," and it's probably a couple thousand people that had our address registered as their mailing address for their voter registration. Oh wow! Oh my God! So I'm looking through. I'm like, well, this guy's.
Yep. They're still doing that crap. All right, Chinese firms are buying up U.S. schools.
Chinese-owned groups have been buying up schools across the United States, including Spring Education Group, with ownership of 240 schools across 19 states. And they're funded by a Chinese investment firm whose CEO has been described as, quote, an ardent Chinese nationalist. Xi Van Fleet was born in China, and she lived through the Cultural Revolution. She joins us now. Xi, always great to have you on. You know what? I've been following a lot of stuff with the CCP. I didn't even know that they were, owning or donating to 240 schools. Explain to our viewers why the Chinese would want to have this happen, what they're up to.
Yeah, I think it's so important for Americans to understand that CCP, since its founding in 1921, always regard America as its arch enemy, and has been never stopped working to weaken and undermine the United States in order to replace it to become world superpower. And education has been the very important battleground. And since the early 2000s, they started with the higher education, with the Confucius institutions everywhere in the United States. And then they moved to the public schools with donation and exchange programs such as sister school programs. And now they're moving towards private schools, buying a lot of them. And so in 2015, they bought the high school.
It's always your fault, Mr.
New York Military Academy, where Trump attended. And why? They're not here to make money. They're not invest to make money. They're here to take over American education and turn.
Exactly. Did you hear that part? They're here to take over.
New York Military Academy, where Trump attended. And why? They're not here to make money. They're not invest to make money. They're here to take over American education and turn our classroom into the little red classroom, and our education into American education with CCP characteristics. What they really want is generations of people like Hassan Piker. This influencer just went to China and then told his millions of followers that China offered the solution for America. Communism is the solution to the problems that capitalism created in America. That is what they want. And that is very, very dangerous.
Yeah, it certainly is. And by the way, you mentioned that New York Military Academy, that is the school that President Donald Trump. So clearly they're trying to influence the elites in the future elites in our society.
Absolutely.
It makes a lot of sense that they would try and buy off these private schools where very rich people send their kids. These are well-connected students who then go on to have high positions in our society. I've been hearing a lot about, the Chinese buying up farmlands, but actually this is even more effective.
So a lot of the land they're trying to do like Bill Gates. They're buying up land to take water rights. That's what they're doing. They want to starve off the farmers eventually. All right, I didn't know that a lot of the new cars, how much they're spying on you. Watch this.
Is your car spying on you? Here's how to check. You see, I just purchased a Toyota 4Runner after 18 years of driving a Honda Element. It was like a brick phone on.
And they want to bring into Canada, so it ends up coming into America. A lot of these cars that are made in China. Same type of thing.
On wheels, but now I'm driving a smartphone with all kinds of tracking technology. So the first thing I did before even leaving the dealership was turn off as much data collection as possible. I downloaded the manufacturer's app, entered my VIN, and then declined all connected services features. These wirelessly transmit my location and vehicle health to Toyota. Then I went to vehicleprivacyreport.com, entered my VIN, and I about died when I saw all the tracking still on my car. My 4Runner collects identifiers like my name, mailing address, email, and demographic info. It also collects biometrics, including my geolocation, driver's license, and financial info. And I learned my car not only tracks.
A lot of times when you update a lot of your software, a lot of times it'll switch all that crap back on.
My data. It sells it too. My car sells information to affiliates like sponsors, partners, and advertisers. It shares my data with service providers and its affiliated insurance company, but only if I've provided consent, which I don't remember doing. And finally, it should come as a surprise to no one that car companies will share your data with the government when legally obligated to do so. So I opted out of targeted advertising, the sharing or selling of my data, and any marketing communications. Now check your car's privacy and let me know.
Has anyone run into that before? Oh my God. All right. Oregon passes all these water rights bills about like going out in a boat and paddling. They're stopping you from doing it, and they can find you and tax you. Watch this.
So I live in Oregon, and I live on the Umpqua River, and we float the river every year in kayaks and paddle boards and inner tubes, fun stuff like that. And I found out yesterday they are going to be counting inner tubes that are tied together. If you have two inner tubes that you tie together with a rope, they're going to count that as a boat. You have to have a permit to float the river.
A permit for that?
With inner tubes. Or
that means you got to pay for that. That's a tax.
Kayak. Because that's going to be considered a boat. Because our government wants the money for people to float in the river in the state of Oregon.
Doesn't live there anymore, yeah. Somebody stole my battery? Is that what it says? I don't know.
We're not signing the new CBA offer. We want more of the NBA's money, Adam.
And I want hair and smaller ears. Just take the offer. The minimum salary is going to be $250K and the max will be $1 million.
$250,000 a year isn't enough. I need $250,000 every 365 days.
What the hell are you talking about, Angel? Do you have period brain right now?
We're not accepting till we get a 50-50 revenue split.
That's not even possible, Kelsey. The WNBA loses money and only owns 42% of their league. The rest is owned by the NBA and investors.
Then the NBA should give us some of their shares.
Ha! You can suck my big Jewish balls, rectangle face. This is the best offer you're going to get.
Then we'll go on strike. Basketball isn't my only income. I just released my new sneakers that everyone is going to wear, just like Jordan's.
Are they not drug testing you all?
If they actually lowered their ticket prices, more people would come in. They're trying to charge the same amount as they do for an NBA game. They'd get more people, and say you only make $2 per ticket instead of $10 per ticket, but you'd sell more tickets, you make more money.
Nope.
Nope, yeah. That's Griner up there at the top. Unbelievable.
So the body of a drag queen named Darren, who went by Crystal Couture, was found stuffed underneath a bunch of cardboard boxes. The thing about Darren, though, is he was a artist. Yeah, that's right. This dude was actually convicted back in 1999 for what he did to an 11-year-old boy. And now his dead body was found underneath a bunch of cardboard boxes in a filthy alley behind a bar. Nothing else to see here. Definitely no crime to investigate. And this story had a happy ending. What do y'all think? Let me know down in the comments.
I don't know. So yeah, I don't care about the drag queen dying after that. It was a pedophile. A lot of them are
guys,
pedophiles.
just following up on that story about Leah's Pantry, which is a San Francisco-based nonprofit, 304.
More fraud.
This is the third floor for food prep. This looks like a closet, to be honest. But
food prep.
This whole building is kind of a
That's our tax dollars.
place for like massage therapists and stuff. So when I saw that Leah's Pantry was based there, and their tax returns are out of control. I think like 60% of their money is going to salaries or something like that. But like, look at this place, you guys. There's no one here. They're not doing meal prep for children on the third floor. Like, this is so fucking out of hand. I'm so tired of this, man. Like, now you have all the Democrats campaigning around San Diego, and they all look like fucking idiots, man. You got the Epstein files dropping. You got the fraud being released all over San Diego, which is out of fucking control, man. Like, this is the shadiest fucking place in PV.
We're just finding it now. That's this thing. It's been happening.
This is basically, we're a few blocks from the freeway entrances. This place is probably going to be...
Do you notice a lot of it? It's illegals and migrants that have come in.
Bulldoze pretty soon because, I mean, dude, it's just mid-spa plaza and we're doing food prep here for kids. Give me a fucking break, man. This is a scam. I'm so fucking tired of all this scam shit, man. It's everywhere. Everything in San Diego is a scam, you guys. We need to get rid of everybody that's in office. These people aren't serious. And I think we're all sick and tired of this shit. Fucking vote them all out. Done with this.
This is about who's pushing the trans stuff, basically.
I just found something in the Epstein files that literally no one is talking about. It's an email from a man named Robert Trivers, who is an evolutionary biologist, to Jeffrey Epstein. And in this email, Robert Trivers is talking about transgender ideologies. He's talking about chemically changing men and women to make them more sexually desirable to Jeffrey Epstein. He also talks about pushing these transgender ideologies onto children as young as 3 years old. Here is the full email. If you want to read it, you can, but it's pretty disgusting. But anyways, here is a section from that email where it literally explicitly says that they plan on pushing these ideologies onto children as young as 3 years old. So underneath all of the horrible crimes that are being alleged in the Epstein files, there is also 100% proof that they are planning on castrating our little children. Keep in mind, the man Robert Trivers who sent this email is walking completely free, even though he was talking about chemically changing children to be desirable for Jeffrey Epstein. Something needs to change. This is really, really bad, and nobody is being arrested. This is proof. This is not an allegation. This is
they want to get rid of whiteness.
Proof of an email that was sent by this man. Something needs to happen. God bless.
They want to get rid of white Christianity for sure. So this guy caught this other one paying for protesters. Watch it.
I'm a journalist, and I'm wondering if there's someone I can speak to. Any meetings? Is there someone that I can speak to?
Yeah, I think they might be like on the other side of the park, actually.
No. Yeah. They said you would be here.
Oh no, but other side of the park's actually.
Why are you so upset? Why are you so angry?
I was angry right here.
What? You seem like really jittery, like upset.
Oh, you're just annoying.
Oh, why am I annoying?
He's making lots of money doing it.
All right, well, I have to go for a stand here. Meet Naftali Aaron Krantz. He's a paid protester through and through. Here's him posting on LinkedIn to hire paid protesters for the company he works for called Get Free. Listen to this. Get Free is hiring for part-time mobilization support contractor. That just means paid protester. We're seeking out people with 4+ years of experience in leading direct action and large-scale mobilizations, demonstrations, protests, and civil disobedience.
Imagine if all these places had real companies that really produced economic growth in the economy.
which just means experience getting arrested. Compensation is $3,500 to $4,200 a month for an average of 20 hours a week. Get Free on their website calls themselves a grassroots organization when Naftali and others are literally being paid to protest. Get Free wants to, quote, undo white supremacy. Naftali thinks one of the best ways to
white supremacy
do that is to celebrate vandalism, saying Crown Heights stay winning after someone threw an egg at a stranger's Cybertruck and placed dog feces on it. Here's Naftali at an Abolish the Police rally. You can see he's not leading the protest, just blending in amongst the other recruits. He can get his photo op later because the way this works is combining all the leftist causes together to make the individual causes look bigger than they are. And of course, he works with the DSA, which is why I ran into him at this DSA Tax the Rich rally. On LinkedIn, you can see Naftali frequently doing his paid protester posts saying, come work with and help us expand our effort to win reparations across the country. And Naftali is recruiting nationwide in Chicago.
He's trying to get blacks to follow him and join their Marxist groups.
The Bay Area, and Baltimore. Pod organizers he's hiring for are tasked with building small, localized teams. In other words, protesters that can be deployed on demand. Now let's see what happens when we click on one of these links attached. It's a 9-week contract, part-time, paying $3,400 in stipends, issued by
John, see how much money they're paying?
Bi-weekly, and they're looking for someone excited about experimentation and will recruit people and train them to drive turnout to events. And Naftali is part of Jews Against Trump and urges people to donate to bail funds to, quote, bail immigrants out of concentration camps. A Jewish person that calls an immigration detention center a concentration.
You mean illegals?
Camp has a serious mental illness, and its colleges like
I didn't know you could bail an illegal out.
NYU, where he went, the Democrat Party, and the mainstream media who are guilty of this brainwashing. We see Nicole Carty at the top of the Get Free movement. She says the George Floyd protests were the reason Biden won the 2020 election. Share this with anyone who is trying to make the argument that morality, civil rights, and social justice have no place in electoral politics.
It might have been part of
it's
it,
the opposite. Now we can see that these protest NGO groups are about one thing: getting Democrats elected. So it's only fitting that donations to Get Free are funneled through Act Blue, who's under investigation by the Department of Justice for foreign contributions. Act Blue has funneled billions of dollars for activist groups like Indivisible Twin Cities, who is orchestrating the resistance on ICE agents in Minneapolis. Indivisible has been caught paying protesters, and they've received over $7.6 million from the Open Society Foundation, funded by George Soros.
All right, now here's a bunch of drag queens that stormed the capital of Utah to protest ICE, I guess, or something. Look at this guy at the front. Look at this dude at the front here. Isn't that ridiculous? And it's messing with kids' heads, I tell you that. Stand up, fight back! Yeah, they're perfectly normal, right? We need to reopen the mental hospitals and then expand them, I tell you. We really need it. The NGOs own the Jewish group. Some of them, I think, are Jewish. I'm not sure exactly. Like all the circus pollution. All right, this is Mandami. Mandami's campaigning for another Marxist, a black Marxist, for her seat.
Friends, I am once again asking for your donations.
Oh, this is not real, right?
Not for me, for Claire Valdez.
And who the fuck is that bitch?
Claire is an assembly member, a Democratic Socialist.
A Democratic Socialist? Like they literally pulled that shit out their ass and y'all voted for it.
Union organizer running for Congress in New York 7.
That's Greenpoint, Williamsburg, Bushwick, Ridgewood, Maspeth, Cypress Hills, East New York, a little bit of Fort Greene, a little bit of Bed-Stuy.
So everybody knows the areas in which to vote for the other motherfucker?
You just said Ridgewood twice.
Yeah, baby.
Wait, so I have a cue for you. What are you running on?
Unions for all, housing for all, Medicare for all.
Okay, so if y'all fall for this shit, like, there's just no fucking helping y'all at this point. Okay?
I thought DC was only doing for some right now.
Nah, we're gonna do it all.
You're going to take care of it all.
We can't do it without you.
That's right.
Sorry. You're going to take
Commies
care of
can't
it
get in
all.
power without you.
So I'm asking you to donate whatever you can to Claire.
And then Claire is going to give it all to him. Man, I'm sorry, New York. I am so sorry for all you folks that are not voting for this.
Amen on that. All right, Minnesota.
Virginia is becoming Islamified right in front of our eyes. This is Virginia Senate Bill 624, introduced last month, January 2026, by State Senator Saddam Islam Salim, a Democrat representing the 37th District. The bill formally inserts a definition of Islamophobia into Virginia's assault and battery laws. It defines Islamophobia as malicious prejudice or hatred toward Islam or Muslims. But it applies even if the alleged victim isn't Muslim, as long as someone claims you targeted them based on a perceived connection to Islam. Perceived. The bill directs the Virginia State Police, the Attorney General, and the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion to track and catalog these cases in a hate crime reporting system. And I have to argue that would be unconstitutional. There would have to be physical damage or property damage to be labeled as a hate crime. To speak your mind is simply free speech. And all of this comes right after Virginia elected Muslim Lieutenant Governor Ghazla Hashmi was just sworn in on a Quran. Don't be surprised if Sharia law becomes mandatory in the Commonwealth of Virginia in the coming weeks.
Okay, if you were wondering who's running the Democratic Party.
So currently there are 4 Democrat-run states that are suing the Trump administration to stop investigating Somali fraud. There are 19 Democrat-run states.
Oh, and how can you sue them? On what grounds?
That are currently suing the Trump administration because he won't allow them to do sex changes on children. 22 Democrat states are suing the Trump administration to hide their voter rolls. And finally, 21 Democrat-run states are suing the Trump administration to give SNAP benefits to illegals. Let me remind you that you're paying for every one of these lawsuits. If you live in one of these Democrat-run states, your tax dollars are paying for these lawsuits. You are paying so the Democrats in office can sue the Trump administration for what? To stop investigating Somali fraud? To allow children to have sex change operations? To hide your voter data? And to give SNAP benefits to people who aren't even supposed to be here? That's what the Democrats are doing. That is what they support. Somalis, sex changes for kids, hiding voter data, and SNAP for illegals. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you're happy. That's, it's money well spent, right?
Not so much. Not so much. All right, here's a mother that got killed, right? But before she was killed, she laid there wounded for a long time and they didn't come and help her. For 10 hours she laid there before she died.
Chicago police continued to look into the murder of a mother of 5, found shot in an alley earlier this month. As police searched for the person who pulled the trigger, we started digging into why it took investigators more than 10 hours to find her body. Jermont Terry is always investigating and joins us with the alarming details that he's uncovered. Jermont.
Erica, the story is all about a timeline. Moments after shots echoed on January 18th, an off-duty Chicago police officer called 911. Despite the officer telling dispatchers...
I didn't fully read his statement, but I seen that they were going to do some beta stuff like that, and I'm hoping they'll do the live thing. Although it's working out pretty good on the Rumble because I can see your comments here on Rumble.
The number of shots and where the gun...
I hope it ties into like Rumble, and you can see your comments through that.
Gunfire came from. CPD did not find this woman's body until 10 hours later. Now neighbors are questioning what CPD did after that first 911 call. It's Sunday, January 18th, and you're looking at home surveillance capturing Chicago police putting up crime tape off 64th and Drexel.
The police didn't get into this area until the afternoon.
It's close to 3 p.m. that day. It's where someone shot Kiara Jenkins, leaving her to die alone in an alley.
Can I get a parking tape? But this is going to be a person shot.
10-4, bonafide person shot.
Dispatch calling for crime tape. Moments later, more video shows an ambulance rolling down the alley. And the timing is critical because these first responders are on the scene of a crime that Chicago police say actually occurred at 4:30 in the morning, a full 10 hours earlier, leaving neighbors in Woodlawn asking what went wrong. Why are you speaking? What's your true concern?
I think it's just the safety of our neighborhood. Her being a mother, maybe she could have had a chance.
As it turns out, at 4:54 that morning, right after the shooting, police received a 911 call, and not just from anyone. Law enforcement sources say an off-duty Chicago police officer who lives on the block was awakened by at least 5 gunshots. That officer told a 911 dispatcher the shots came from the alley. We've learned the officer even provided a badge number in hopes of police checking out the scene. Our review of dispatch communications revealed police knew about the officer's 911 call 10 hours earlier.
Forgive me if somebody asked this already. Were there any gunshots any hours of 4:30 to 5 o'clock this morning?
Yeah, you're forgiven because it was. We had a call of shots fired in the area. 61 Drexel is the location that came out about 4:54 a.m.
That address just 2 doors down from the murder scene and where the off-duty officer placed the call.
Something's definitely missing.
CPD says they did respond and close the shots fired call at 5:08 a.m. In this alley, there are many buildings and homes with security cameras, and the vast majority of them will capture any car or person walking down the alley. Now, many shared some of their surveillance video with me. Others let me look through hours worth of footage. If Jenkins was shot at 4:30 in the morning, and we now know an officer dialed 911 about shots fired at 4:54, there are no records from any of those cameras of a squad car coming down this alley.
If a police car had come down the alley at 4:30 in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, the camera would have picked it up.
The only shots fired you had was from earlier this morning, right?
Yes, 10-4 at about 04:54 hours. 64 South on Drexel was the location. It was 5 shots heard, but nothing was found.
The department did not elaborate on what closing that shots fired call entailed. Jenkins' body was found in the alley near her car by a friend checking on the mother of 5 when she did not show up to church.
For that much time to go by, it doesn't make sense.
What's even more troubling, neighbors are reflecting on something else from that morning.
I thought it was kind of weird that the car alarm was, constantly going up. It woke me up out of my sleep.
While the off-duty officer heard gunshots, others heard an alarm blaring on and off from the alley for more than 40 minutes.
That car alarm, what was that alarm? Was that her trying to get help? Was that her trying to alert, someone that I'm over here?
Police have not said if Jenkins' car keys were next to her body, but we do know her car, purse, and identification were all found on scene, leaving neighbors to wonder about those last moments.
If the police had come in the area, when the 911 call came in, they could have heard that, and maybe that would have made a difference. And I feel like the family deserves to know, where was the police? Where was the response?
Now, we have put in an open records request for the first 911 call made by the off-duty officer and all police communications from when the call was cleared. We are still waiting on that request as of this hour. Right now, Erica, no one is in custody.
And this is what I'm trying to get you all to see. While we, the real residents, need a leader, this is what your mayor is doing. Your mayor is deciding to go protest and fight for illegal aliens while speaking in Spanish, marching down the street. This is what he's fighting for, illegal alien rights, and not for what's happening to the real residents, the murder, what we're going through. No, he's using the police to go after ICE. That's his main concern. And this is what I keep saying.
Because that's their voter base now. We're being replaced.
Yes. This is what you have in a leader. This is what you keep voting for in leadership. He's showing you what's important to him. And it's not you. He's not thinking about what just happened to this mother of 5. Kiara Jenkins. He's not thinking about her at all. No march. He's not talking about why was the police, why wasn't they on time? Why did they wait so late to come and see what's going on and find her? He don't care nothing about that. He haven't even spoke about that. But yet he's signing executive orders for your police officers to go investigate ICE and for the city to go fight ICE, to protect illegal aliens while the residents are getting murdered, just laying out in the streets, nothing's being done.
She would have survived.
This is, you know what, guys? At some point, it just have to click. At some point, your brain, it just have to click in your brain that
but
the
they
Democratic Party
racism.
don't care anything about you.
All right, the most secure election, remember? This is the most secure election in history.
Oh my God. Hi. Hey, so you with the elections? You're the Bureau of Elections, right?
Well, I'm just a volunteer.
We're just wondering okay, I understand you're a volunteer and you're just doing your job. What's all these? Are these mail-in ballots or what's these coming in?
What are these?
Uh-huh.
These are my intake here?
What's that?
Am I in tape as well?
Yeah, because we're wondering why are ballots being handled down here and not up there with the elections. So we're curious about that.
Okay, yeah, the gentleman who's in charge of this, I think, should be right back down.
What's his name?
Gosh, what is his name? You know his name? Are you volunteer or
I'm a poll watcher.
Okay.
Okay. I'm a poll. So what's his name?
I don't know.
Okay. And you're a volunteer? What kind of volunteer are you? With the elections? Okay, I'm just curious.
Most secure election ever, and they go downstairs to a separate place to go through the ballots there. Wonder what's going on there. All right, here's about
on Monday night. We found out that 31-year-old Sergio Martinez has a long history of being deported to Mexico and then illegally re-entering the U.S. He's been deported 20 times to be exact. Or at least
20 times deported. Good thing we got the border closed finally.
Lisa Balick digging deeper into this, and she joined us with much more. Lisa?
Well, Martinez is being held on 13 charges, from kidnapping to sex abuse to assault in these attacks.
Wait and
now,
see.
court documents
Okay.
indicate his first victim says she
Hopefully
was
soon.
tied up by him before he sexually abused her.
Mr. Martinez, I'm Judge Maurer. You're here for an arraignment.
Police say 31-year-old Sergio Martinez broke into a Northeast Portland apartment at sunrise Monday morning and attacked a 65-year-old woman he didn't know, stole her car, and that night attacked another woman while wielding a knife in a parking garage. Again, a stranger. Coin 6 has found he's got a long arrest record starting 15 years ago in California. He was convicted of burglary, battery, theft, and illegally entering the U.S. from Mexico at least 20 times after being deported. Court records show he's been living in Multnomah County for several months and says he's a transient. County records show he has 9 failure to appear warrants going back several years. A question is whether these attacks could have been prevented if federal immigration agents were notified that Martinez was under arrest in the past. The Multnomah County Sheriff's Office tells me state law forbids them from using state resources for immigration enforcement. And that's why they would not notify ICE, the U.S. Immigration
I know, if you had a closed border, you couldn't get back in.
and Customs Enforcement Agency. Now,
Now we have
Martinez
one.
is being held without bail. He is due
Last
back in
11
court
months
next
or
week,
so.
and I understand there may be additional charges against him. Live in downtown Portland, Lisa Balick, Coin 6 News.
How many crimes did he do that we don't know about? Unreal. Here's about Bill Gates and Epstein.
No doubt seen the allegations, including some of them from the last 24 to 48 hours. Are they true?
No, apparently Jeffrey wrote an email to himself. That email was never sent. The email is, false. So I don't know what his thinking was there.
Do you think it can be any more of a piece of shit?
Was he trying to attack me in some way? But, it just reminds me, every minute I spent with him, I regret and I, apologize that I did that.
The problem is some of the things that he has sent and some of the information about other people that has come up in those
It's
files.
Portland
has
figures,
been
yeah.
true. Why would he do this and say this about you, do you think?
Now, if ICE, Marianne, went to pick him up there, they would let him out of jail just to make sure he wouldn't get deported again, right?
It's factually true that I was only at dinners. I never went to the island. I never met any women. And so, the more that comes out, the more clear it'll be that although the time was a mistake, it had nothing to do with that kind of behavior.
Is it frustrating to you, given what you've said, that this is now happening?
Not really. I mean, people should, hold people who are successful to a very high bar. And so, it's as these documents come out, they're going to be closely scrutinized.
Okay.
Yep. Now, tomorrow, I got one more I'm going to play for a laugh to end it. But tomorrow I should be on at 6 p.m. Now, Sunday is the Super Bowl, so I'm probably going to go on earlier. I was thinking Sunday, maybe 3 p.m. or something like that, so everyone can watch the Super Bowl and all that. Yeah, he is a piece of shit. He is a piece of crap. STDs his wife and put the stuff in his thing. I don't know. All right, I'm going to end on a little humor. Here we go.
So, Gavin, what was it like growing up?
Yo, man, why you keep calling me that?
What?
Man, I already told you that's my slave name. They call me Genu.
All right. Gino, what was it like growing up?
Yo, dog, check it, man. Straight up, man. I came up hard in the Marine streets. You feel me?
Oh, yeah?
Back when I was a little scrappy straight out of the struggle, yo. Poverty? Man, that shit had me hustling like a boss, man. West side.
Are you trying to say you were poor?
Hell yeah, man. I was eating Wonder Bread sandwiches just trying to survive, yo. I couldn't even cop a decent latte without slinging jumpers on the blacktop.
The fuck? I grew up
They got to do their victimhood, right?
in the hood.
Yeah, I was balling out of control for that paper. You feel me, cracker?
Shug.
What does that mean exactly?
Yeah, what's up? Man, I be out there doing till just balling for bucks, yo. Cause bills don't pay themselves for real.
Wasn't your dad like the state of Bill's court judge and a...
Well, in any case, I prefer, well, because of being a Bills fan, I'd rather have Seattle win. So you never know about the refs. I tell you, the Bills have been screwed like what is it, 4 or 5 out of the last 6 years, something like that.
Tax attorney for the Getty family? Man, I ain't had no daddy. Okay. It was just me. Me and my squad dodging a po-po, shooting fades for chump change.
Yeah,
I stick that 3-pointer from the half court, pocket that 5 bones, and
my son's a New England fan, so he'll probably be watching it.
bounce to the corner store for my fix, yo. A fix? What, like drugs? Nah, man, I'm talking about a fat slice of watermelon, man, dripping juice like it's tears from my struggle. And then chitlins, steaming hot. Greasy.
Did you see where some of the players were making money fixing games? They were saving points, basically, in the NBA.
It's my grind. Eating them cold out the fridge at 3 a.m. while dreaming of that governor gig, feel? I was eating out the dumpster, feel me? You ate out of the dumpster? Hell yeah. I had them
I know for sure Genevieve's coming back on. She's running for senator in Michigan.
Sea bucket stay high, extra crispy, cause life was fried. Yo, pig's feet simmering in a pot, collars on the side.
You guys are pretty funny in chat tonight.
Grape Kool-Aid from a red solo cup like it was Dom Perignon. I spark up a Newport after a pickup game, coughing clouds sticking to my ex-alimony checks. 40s? Hell yeah. St. Eyes, King Cobra, all them taking that long-ass 8-ball piss. You feel me? I nurse some slow philosophizing about the system. Why these billionaires like my daddy's homeless eating caviar while I'm out there whooping for hot pockets, feel me? I hustle, turn nothing into something, from the projects to the State House. That's how California dreaming, baby. Y'all weak-minded folks out there. Which one of y'all pipe-smoking bitches got the hot sauce?
I don't know if it's rigged by referees or players or what, a little bit. But definitely wonder about shaving points and all that kind of crap. All right, I'll be back on tomorrow. Take care, everyone. God bless. Bye-bye. I know Sunday I'm probably going to do the whole weather thing because, I lived through the storm in 77. This whole global warming's BS. Bye-bye. Take care. God bless.